Oh, let's see. Is there anybody else I want to have? Come check it out, check it out, check it out. Let's send it to Fabi. Oh, this guy does his shit too early. I want to talk to this guy, but he's always on his shit too early. No, I'm not driving. I have a driver for that stuff. Snuggie! Snuggie J. It's a great name. What's going on, Snuggie J? Oh, so what are we doing today, people? I wonder what we're going to talk about. Yeah, I'm just so proud of everything we do here that I don't see a like I'm not desperate to change things because I desperately want views and I want to keep everyone happy and no, man, this isn't about that. This is a big picture thing. Today's conspiracy is the same conspiracy it always is, man. You know, that's the thing about cutting off the head of the monster. You know, you never, like, yeah, we could talk about the arms and the legs sometimes, but we're always trying to cut that head off. Doing some breathing exercises right now, that shit's so smart. I wish I was more disciplined. I just wish I had somebody in my life to, you know, like, so every day I wake my kids up at like 5:30, 5:45, and they do exercises. Now, the main reason we sort of started, there's a bunch of reasons why we do exercises. One of the reasons is so that they can see, like, my oldest, he's just got the best genes in the world. Like, he's just fucking jacked. It's crazy how, like, I never had that body, and I always wish I did. But, you know, the school will suggest that we put them on Ritalin and stuff, on Adderall, because they have so much energy, and we don't want kids having energy. So what do? Well, instead of going the easy route, well, we wake up early and they do exercises. And believe me, at first they didn't want to do that shit, but now you couldn't get them to stop. It's all in how you see things. It's all in how you look at things. And the work and the effort you're willing to do, teaching them to practice push-ups and pull-ups. And we're not doing pull-ups yet, but push-ups and sit-ups and lunges, and, you know, they do multiple different styles of push-ups. They do the burner push-ups where they go up and then down and then up again. They do and they're using the perfect push-ups, so they twist, and they're using wide push-ups and like, fucking A, man. Gotta teach them something. Some everyday knowledge. Everyday something they can use to make their everyday life better. And it's more than just exercises and muscles. It's about discipline. It's about seeing what happens when you put in the effort. You put in enough effort, you could have this sculpted body that makes all the girls go, ooh. And that's literally like what we're doing here, right? We're doing push-ups. We're doing mental exercises on this feed every day. We don't miss a day, even if I don't feel like doing it. Still gonna go live, blah blah blah, because these mental exercises are keeping us sharp. You know, I don't care who you are, like whether you're a troll or whatever. if you're willing to admit it or not. But since you've been watching my feed, you see the world differently. Even some arrogant prick like Algo. I know I have changed that dude's point of view on some things. He's definitely was a truther, blah, blah, blah. But that's what we're all supposed to do. We're supposed to change each other's point of views. It's not like me saying I'm superior or anything like that. I'm just saying I'm presenting some things that have changed your point of view. That's literally all. Nobody's better, nobody's worse, da-da-da-da-da, none of that shit. And we're so used to like feeling attacked that if I were to say you, hey, no, blah, blah, no, man. But I guarantee, especially all you new people, you've been watching this for the last few months or whatever, you see the world differently. You might not want to, but you see the shit I'm talking about. You see how the world fucking caters to the Jays and you know, how disgusting it all is. But you see it, it's not just the whole Israel thing. I'm glad I found someone who thinks this way as well. That's exactly why I do it. Because nobody was saying the things I wanted to hear. Everybody seemed like they were caught up in something still, and there was shit left on the table, and it's like, dude, in order to believe what you believe, you have to ignore this, that, or the other, and I just didn't like that. I already agree with most of your conspiracies. But see, for me, I am so much more curious as to what you don't agree with. Tell me the things you don't agree with. That's how I get better. I look at this like training. Like the best boxers in the world, they don't surround themselves with yes men. Oh man, everything you're doing is perfect. No, if you want to be great, you surround yourself with people who will tell you when you fuck up. Who will tell you when you're not great. The best boxers will have a guy that just sits there and looks for every little thing they do. And if they twist their hand, a few degrees off at the same point every time, they focus in on that and they say, all right, hey, you're fucking up this one punch. You got to work on this. You got to work on that. You're dipping too much this way. You're doing that too much. Your steps are off, whatever it is. And then they work on that thing relentlessly until they fix it. And that's what this is all about. We have to find every little hole, because if there's ever a chance, ever some sort of opportunity where I do actually get to that position, where I do actually get to be in front of those who make the decisions. Like I keep saying, come on, situation, come on, system. If I'm wrong, then just bring me on TV, set me in front of a panel of your smartest fucking people, and have them tell me everything I'm getting wrong. And we'll go back and forth, and if I'm wrong about stuff, I am more than capable of admitting it. And so I'm hoping someday I get to that point, and the only way, the way I'm going to succeed, my best chances of success are if, until then, you guys help me. You guys point out what little thing I'm getting wrong, what little movements, what little twists, whatever it is, you guys need to point that shit out. Well, considering Jerry Springer's dead, it's probably not going to happen, Dookie.
Jerry Springer died?
Yeah, a while ago.
Did he?
Yeah. Oh, I'm very new here. One slip and they take advantage. I hope so. We should. They should. Everybody should. Like, I people say things like, I want to say things, but I don't want you to get mad. You can't make me mad. There's nothing you guys can say to me that's going to make me mad or hurt my feelings or anything like that. It just doesn't work that way. I'm sorry. I know that's how some of you want it to be, but it's just not that way. It's okay. They know what they're talking about. I'd watch that. Hell, I'd read about it if it wasn't televised. You'd think. And you'd think. So I always tell people, like, When you are new to the earth shape argument, right? And you're starting to question things. I don't want to have an argument with you. I don't want to have a debate with you until you've watched 200 proofs the earth is not a spinning ball. And the reason I say that is because of the way it's done. Unlike anything else, 200 proofs, it just starts off. It's just like, all right, number one. Da, 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 da. Number two.
Thing that anybody could say about it.
Right, and that's the other thing. It doesn't make every argument, but it answers a lot of those early questions you have. Like this dumbass today sent me a thing, this meme about the flat earth. And he was like, and this is out of the blue. And it's a light fixture above, like, look at this. This is supposed to debunk things.
That doesn't.
I said, dude, what happens when you move the light closer? Of course, it's going to cover the whole thing when it's way out far like that. But if you just move the light closer, like it's these little kinds of things. And a lot of people with the earth shape argument, they'll say things, oh yeah, well, how do the seasons work? And how is it night? And it's like that. Not only does that video cover it, it also gives you a visual representation, a visual example, so you can see it. Because a lot of us learn visually. I don't have all those. I can't pull up a piece of paper. Okay, so there's this, and there's this, and there's this. But once you have, and I always encourage people, when you watch that video, have a pad and pencil with you, so you can write down each number that you can debunk. And then after the fact, we'll go through it and we'll debunk each thing. And you could say, okay, this one, and it's debunked because of this. Now, the funny thing is, if you put 200 proofs into the YouTube, it's going to give you all of these debunk videos that pop up, right? And every single one of those videos is just some bullshit. It's like it's making fun of you for asking the question, or they'll say, they'll debunk it using math or some kind of bullshit, but it's never like they just crush every argument. But that's what it's like more than anything, I'd love to have the discussion with people. But as soon as you start asking really basic questions, it's like, obviously, you haven't looked into it. And why would you have a conversation with someone, a debate, when you haven't bothered to learn the other side? I've gotten so much better at arguing the Bible and religion and Judaism and all that stuff since I started reading more about it, learning more about it. Like, you would think reading the Bible, like I always thought, like if you read the Bible, it should give you this experience. It's like you read it and you go, oh, okay, this makes sense now. Oh, and you like feel it and you're like, man, this is so good. And it's the opposite. It's the exact opposite. So much so that you need an interpreter to tell you exactly what it says because it's so goofy and stupid. Let's see. Where are we? Earth shape. It's a sphere, isn't it? Why would it be? I feel sorry for your mother. She's dead. Do you play any video games? Yep. Yeah, I never got into Dungeons and Dragons. Sorry. But to me, I hate that I play video games. I use it as like a break. A respite. I use it as a way to detach for a minute, but it's just a distraction. I find myself playing video games when I should be recording. I find myself playing video games when I should be doing other things because I just, that's what they're designed to do. What do you say about the fentanyl epidemic? It is the scariest fucking thing. It's scary. It's as scary as the Jays. But is 300 fucking people a day die? It's in everything. Like I've had a few friends on here on Facebook that have died from it. Somebody getting it in a fucking vape pen. How does fentanyl get in a vape pen? How does fentanyl get into Adderall? I don't understand the fentanyl thing, really. It just doesn't make any sense to me. why would you give away free drugs? I never understood the free drugs argument. Like every time they're like, oh, it's Halloween. You got to check your kids' candy, blah, blah, blah. Like, who's giving away free drugs? You're giving away free drugs randomly in candy. So even if somebody likes the free drugs you gave them, how are they going to know you gave it to them? It's in a Snickers bar. You got a few Snickers bars. Like it's the stupidest, like the weirdest kind of distractionary bullshit. Almost like they're encouraging us to do something like that because it just doesn't make any sense. And fentanyl is the same thing. You don't need to lace anything with fentanyl. You can sell fentanyl. Why would you lace anything, especially uppers? The people that are getting fentanyl in their coke and all that other shit. Like if I'm like, hey, drug dealer, I want to buy some upper. And you give me something, and I'm like, I'm going to a party, I'm going to a concert, I'm going to whatever, and I want to be up and lively, and I want to fuck like a racehorse, and blah, blah, blah. And you give me some fentanyl, and I'm like, I'm going to be furious. Why would I want that? If I want downers, I'm going to buy downers. But why would I want downer in my uppers? And then, why would drug dealers lace their shit with fentanyl when it's killing people, when it's so easy to kill people? That's killing off your customer base. Then you got to find new customers, which, means you run the risk of getting busted. You're selling something that if they find out you sold it, that's a murder charge. Like, what are we even doing here? What are we talking about? And then all these dumpster trumpet fucking Trumpanzees, they're all, they're worried about the wall, from Mexico, because, so many of them want to pick strawberries. But nobody's talking about the fentanyl doesn't come from the south. Fentanyl comes from the north and in the west. China produces fentanyl, so they say. I mean, that's so they say. China produces fentanyl based off of Afghan fucking opium. Because you need the base to make the synthetic. You can't just make synthetic out of nothing. You have to have the base. Sorry, I got way too fucking far on that. This shit's just nuts. It's nuts. So what shape is the world? I don't really know. I think it's some sort of dome structure. Probably, whatever. But that gets too far into... Don't know. All I know is that it's not a sphere flying through space. That's what I know. Flying through the empty vacuum of space, spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, going around the sun at 67,000 miles per hour, blah, blah, blah. All that shit's fake and stupid. Do I know exactly what we are in? No. And the only way I can ever know the true shape of the earth or anything else is if we Goyim unite and overthrow the Jays that control our narrative. By the way, if you're watching, like, share, and sub. Don't forget to do that shit. That shit helps. Terra Infinita. Book is a great read. Infinita. Yeah, I mean, the problem with books, people always say this, like, where'd you get your information from? YouTube. Where'd you get your information from? Well, the one thing nobody ever talks about is who publishes the books. And most of us don't understand how difficult it is to get something published. You don't write a manuscript, take it to the publisher, and they're like, this is great, let's publish it. Most publishers won't even take what they call unsolicited materials. So what you have to do as a Goyim is find you a publishing agent, which is typically a J, who then gets, they get to read your shit and they get to tell you whether or not to take edits, to make edits or not. Once it's okay and they go, okay, I'll shop this. Now they shop it to different publishing houses, and in each publishing house, they have to shop it one at a time because each publishing house has like 60 days or something like that they get to decide whether they want to publish it or not. And then once it goes to the publisher, if they decide they want it, now it has to be read by the low-level people who suggest and make any corrections they want to make. Then it goes up to the next editors. Then it goes up to the next editors. You know, it goes through a bunch of hands before it actually gets to the people. That's why you never hear any books about with J bad guys, with Israeli bad guys, or you know, you never hear about any of that. Think of the last movie you saw where Israel was the bad guy, where an Israeli terrorist was the bad guy, where a J was the bad guy. What you do see all the time is Jays, they love to do this. They love to have a whole family full of Jays playing white trash. Whether it's All in the Family, whether it's Roseanne. Everybody but John Goodman, who has the J name, is a J. And they're playing white trash. They're telling you how to be. Roseanne sings the national anthem in the land of the free and the home of the brave, and she cups her fucking crotch and spits. Oh, because that's a baseball thing. Right, that's what she was doing. If God is the thought, smoking so I steer clear of religion. You try to. It's everywhere, though. It's really hard to. Nothing makes sense now. It shouldn't. Well, it does make sense. It's just what they want you to it's never made sense to you. I can't be the only one that would sit in school and be like, this is stupid. How the fuck do they know this? How, like, or at church? How the fuck does anybody go to church and be like, yep, this is the truth right here. Oh, yeah. Stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down. You need food. Get food. Sorry, blah, blah, blah. If it's so cheap to produce that it's practically free, it's like the chemicals in processed food. Synthetics are made from base materials, not original materials. Oh, yeah, okay. Fentanyl has no chemical relation to opium. Sure. Synthetics have no original material involved. Okay. They just make it out of nothing. Can't. If I just say the J's, then that gives them a reason. For some reason, like that should tell you something. If we say them, that's a negative. That's a slur. I'm telling you guys, the most important thing you guys should watch. Everybody talks about 100% does not make sense to lace the drugs with fentanyl. It's too expensive for a start. Right. Exactly. It just doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? China important materials. Yeah, that's what they tell you, and that's what you believe, clearly. That's what it comes down to. There's a reason why our U.S. troops are all about the Afghanistan heroin. Like it's all right there for us. They need that shit to give us the drugs they give us. They make the drugs from it. And they provide the heroin, the street heroin that you know that's consumed and killing people. How your mindset changed with all this information, strange ideas, maybe an exercise routine like a pure standby. Yeah, that's what it is. How much does stuff cost in China? Whatever they tell you it does. Because you don't know. You know, it's. I mean, I hear things about China that are just like the oil. I forget what it's called, but where they take the food, or like the rewashed food. They'll pull food out of the garbage, and then wash it and then recook it, and it's sold because the people are so poor they have nothing else to eat. So the waste of the people with money is then regurgitated to the people, the poor people. Like, it's crazy. Fentanyl has been out for decades. It's now getting popular again. It used to be it. If they let people just smoke weed, if we were just allowed to smoke weed, grow and cultivate our own weed and our own opiates, because poppies and marijuana are the two things that grow everywhere. They only need a short season. Everybody could supply their own medicine. That would completely change things for everyone. And they know that. You know, they know it. They know that if we like, you can't tell me that. So when I was in Northern Cal 20 something years ago, this guy I knew who had the weed mountain, his dad up in Washington or Oregon or something like that, one time tried to make opium. And it's because he was in a shit ton of pain and it was too expensive and all that to like, you know, it wasn't because he was some junkie. It's because he wanted pain medication. And he didn't want to take the nasty pills that are like this much pain medication and then this much who knows what the fuck. Tylenol and shit. Tylenol's so bad for you. But they grew a bunch of poppies and they made this like black tar shit. It was like this big, but it was like as thick as a phone book. It was like that thick. And it was like this big fucking nasty. It was all slimy and gross. They must have used canola oil or something because it had that canola oil smell to it. And it didn't work, basically. You couldn't smoke it because it would like bubble up and then it would get hard and then the inside wouldn't burn. So it was just sitting there. And then at some point, I figured out we should try cutting off little pieces of it and swallowing it. If it's opiate, it'll work. And so we started doing that. And then we figured out that if you put it in the oven, you cut the little pieces and put them in the oven and let them puff up. And then you swallow them. But it was like the best fucking high I've ever had in my life. By far. By fucking far. And it was like how fucked up, you know, heroin users get, but you weren't like nodding out completely. You sat there and enjoyed it. Whatever the extra shit that's in heroin it wasn't in this. And I don't know, I don't know the process. I don't know how many poppies they had to grow to get it, blah, blah, blah. If I knew, I'd fucking do it myself for sure. But a brick like that, if you just shaved off little pieces, that would last you a year. And this was an old man and his old wife that made it, so it couldn't have been that fucking hard to do. And to tell me that if somebody took little pieces of that opium every day, that would be somehow worse than them taking Paxil, Depakote, fucking Zoloft, Prozac, blah, blah, all these other things, I'm going to call bullshit on that. You can't tell me that those things are better because of, you know, opium is addictive and blah. Go ahead and stop taking your Paxil right away and see how that works out for you. And don't forget, when you take Paxil, your body's going to reject it. For 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, your body's going to be like, stop taking this. Why are you taking the brown acid? This is terrible. Stop taking the brown acid. And then eventually your body will get used to it. And that's supposed to be a good thing. You're telling me that it would be worse if people were taking a self-grown, self-cultivated plant substance than whatever the fuck is in those things. Let's see. Jesus, you guys have been talking a lot. All right. You can in Michigan, anyone can grow. Exactly.
Just pause. So the garbage truck is doing the garbage. So that guy decided to drive up somebody's property to go around the garbage truck. It's right here in our neighborhood.
Yeah, you can say that looks like our neighborhood.
That's Gaylord and Brady.
Asshole.
Fucking asshole.
You can't grow your own. They won't be able to tax it. Well, that's a big part of it, but I don't even think it's that. I think it's like, can you imagine if we had a country full of weed smokers? Because it's not like everybody would be all lazy. And I know, most of the weed smokers I know aren't lazy. They work really hard. And then when they're not working, they sit around and smoke pot to relax. But the way that weed opens your mind, it's the weed smokers that always think the conspiracies and shit. That's the last thing they want, is all of us to have this unifying thing. One of the coolest things I experienced was back when weed was illegal. I was up in Northern Cal, and there was a 420 festival, and we went to it, and it was like it was like Soaky outside. Everybody was smoking so much weed. And we were all just sitting around smoking, and it was like everybody was just connected. No fights broke out. No, no pushing, no shove, none of that shit. Everybody was just cool and happy. You can in half the states. You can where I live in Michigan. Yeah, Michigan's good like that. Until it's not. Or until they decide that you've done something wrong or they want to fuck with you. Then there's that part. How about the huge net that surrounds the Foxconn skyscraper because people were working so much they were killing themselves? That's where iPhones come from. Yeah. There's so much fucked up in the world, especially in places like China and shit, where people live in, apartments the size of my queen size bed and shit. Like that's like no. The thing that the system does is convince us that the solutions are the problems, right? We only have 12 viewers. We have 6 likes, but only 12 viewers. Normally we can get around 100 or so. But today, nope, not today. What was I fucking saying? At the end of the day, I'm allowing myself to be distracted. At the end of the day, there's only one thing we should be talking about. How do we overthrow the Jays that control the world, guys? I'm asking the question. I don't know how. I have an idea as to how we can sort of get started, but I don't have all the answers. Should have made tea with it, poppy tea. That's a lot of work. That sucks. I hope it's affordable at least. Portland before you think every bro, look at Portland before you think every drug should be legal. But the reason, like, if every drug is legal, then we have other things in place. It can't just be you flip this switch or that switch or this switch. We need to flip all the switches. The people in Portland, how many of those people have a lot of shit that they're dealing with that's not, or they're not dealing with, that doesn't get talked about? If we have a like I know that in Amsterdam, they don't have a huge problem. The only problem they really have is when tourists come in and fucking, can't hack it. But Portland is an example not of the problem of drugs. It's the problem in our society.
Well, and
look at California.
You also look at the places that it's been proven that if it's dreary and rainy,
it
affects your mood and makes you depressed. And when you're depressed, then you turn to shit like drugs. And so there's something to be said for that, too. If we know that as a society, why are we building all these make those areas where the industries are, the warehouses, the factories, don't make people live there. That's stupid.
But also, just because you're a junkie or you want to do drugs doesn't mean you should be subjected to horrible conditions and crime and risk.
Oh, well, no.
It's not like making drugs legal or illegal is going to prevent people. It's like when they say if you hand out condoms at school, that's going to make the kids have more sex. It's not.
No, I think the theory is It's not going to make them have more sex. It's going to put it in their face so they're thinking about it more,
Are
making them
you
more
insane?
likely
Do you
to
not?
want to do it.
But that's like an old person way of thinking that doesn't remember what it's like to be a fucking teenager. Because as a teenager, not only are we think it's everywhere, like, and that's the other part. We always talk about this. We always thought like the violence on TV, the violence on TV, the violence on
It's all
TV.
subliminal messages to your
But
subconscious. Though.
we don't talk about the the other side of that. The women are this good little girls, and men are supposed to be macho and like cars and like all that shit. That stuff is dangerous. That stuff fucks with us. I know growing up, I thought cars were cool, but I wasn't like, oh man, look at that car, losing my shit over it.
See, and conversely, I always felt funny because my cousins would be working on cars or whatever, and I'd be right there trying to help them. So there's the flip side too, because girls are supposed to be princesses and like Barbies, and it's programming both ways.
Right. And because I didn't like cars, which is what I was trying to say, like I wasn't that way. It made me feel like, is something wrong with me? Like when I would see, I'd go into a guy's garage and he'd have a calendar on the wall of some hot chick and, she's got a gun or she's leaning on a car. I always thought that was just tacky. Like, really? Like, that's what you're doing, dude? Oh, I guess, okay. Like, it was weird. I didn't, and I thought, like, because I didn't fit those narratives, especially being surrounded by a bunch of white kids, rich white kids who, did everything they could to fit into stereotypes. It was just weird. It was weird. And I think I would have thrived in today's generation. And it's great to see that we're going in the right direction, but we're still so easily distracted by anything gay or trans. It's embarrassing. It really is embarrassing how easily distracted we are. Everyone smokes or has smokes. Oh, here you go. China. Yeah, it's not hard to distract me, Bro, how many people where are we? How many people where are we going through shit? Don't know what that means. Poverty is more of a problem than drugs. By far. By far. Poverty is way more of a problem than drugs. But it's because we're not, like, it's because we live under a monetary system. A monetary system is stupid. The monetary system inherently creates classes and all that other stupid shit. And it's like the people that are the CEO that makes $150,000 a year, and they're like, well, you don't work, and I work. They don't work as hard as the Burger King guy does, for sure. If you've ever worked at Burger King, I promise you, or McDonald's or whatever, especially if you're in the cooking section, you're like, behind the scene, that shit is tedious. That's harder work than anything the CEO does, especially when he goes on his 3-hour lunch breaks where he drinks alcohol and plays golf. It's but it's all about our mentalities. We've been raised to think that everyone should have to work. If that person's not working, then why should I have to work? Well, if you want, like, that person doesn't have what you have, how does that person not working affect you? But we live in a time now where we have the technology, the means, and the resources for everyone to live a really good life without anyone having to work. And when you understand that there are lots and lots of people out there that even if they didn't have to work, they still would. There are people like me. I don't go to a job every day. Am I a lazy piece of shit who does nothing all day? No. I do what I'm capable of doing. And there's way more to the situation than you guys know, but I don't sit here and talk about all that stuff. And the thing is, if I was home and I had opportunity and I had resources and whatnot, I would do way more. Imagine if instead of things being like what they are, right? Where like everybody at some point in their life has this really great idea. And generally, if they remember it, they keep it to themselves because they think there's that slim chance that they might be able to somehow parlay that into fucking making some real money off of it. If they could just find the right situation, the right, whatever, they'll be able to turn this idea into riches. So they keep it to themselves. And that idea generally gets forgotten or they die with it. And the world doesn't get to experience what could make life better for everyone. Now, in another situation, that person says they go on their little social media, whatever, ideas.com, and you say, all right, I have an idea for a better light bulb. And if we just do this and we do that and we do that, we can make light bulbs better. I don't know this part or that part, but I think if we do this, we can make everything better. And the computer does what computers do and connects that idea with other people that have similar ideas. And then the people together work it out how, okay, and they make this light bulb. They design this light bulb that's then put through the process, through the machine, and now we all have better light bulbs for it.
Nobody gets paid.
Yeah, nobody gets paid. It's just your payment is your contribution to the world. We look at contribution as value. Huh?
Even if they don't get paid, they want credit.
But that's what I'm saying. When credit is the payment, when it's now the Smith, Johnson, Billingsley, whatever fucking light bulb, that everybody from here on out, if they look it up, it shows that you may see. It's about how we're taught to think from birth. If we were taught to think these ways from birth, it wouldn't be so foreign to us that have been taught to think the other way.
Well, and then you have the issue of theft, stealing ideas.
We got a dumb broad talking about Trump. But see, that's what I'm saying. In a society where, first of all, it's all cataloged. But secondly, when we're taught differently from birth, we think differently. All these selfish, greedy, like that's not natural human emotion. Have you ever gone up to a baby that was eating something and went, give me some? They always go, ha, and they give it to you.
Not all of them, no.
Okay. For the most part, Jesus Christ, for the most part, if the baby's been taught not to, then I guess not to. But for the most part, the baby, just like how babies, if you put black baby, white baby, brown baby together, they just play. They don't go, oh, you're a different color, I don't like you. We're taught to be that way. We're taught to be...
Discrimination is taught, but not greed. I think there are people that are inherently greedy.
Yeah, but if that greed is channeled differently, it will come out differently. If your greed is you want to be the guy that's known for making the most inventions, then that's a great thing. That's what I'm saying. It's all about how we channel things and we look at things and we force the situation. I'm telling you guys, go watch Hollywoodism. I'm telling you, there's not a thing available for you to watch that will blow your mind more than that shit. At least it shouldn't. Hollywoodism, how the Jews invented Hollywood from 1998. Let's see. I figured that out during my life, the harder you're expected to work, the less you get paid. Not necessarily.
I mean, I was when I was an underwriter. Yeah, I made really fucking good money. I worked crazy ass hours, and I did work really hard. I was really tired when I got home, but when I was a server, I busted my ass. It was work. It's a different type of work. It's a physical work, and
It's both.
running
Instead
and
of one, it's
stress, and
both.
and I made good money, but not underwriter good money.
No.
But I'm not. I did work hard as an underwriter.
But I knew servers at Forte or at Roma that made $120,000 a year.
I mean, I made way more as an underwriter though. But
Sure.
like I said, I was tired. I did work hard, but I wasn't running food around carrying shit.
My best paying jobs have been more laid back. True. Sorry, let's call credit now. Hey, when you're gonna talk about submarine for once? Okay, I've said this time and time again. If you want to hear about submarines, go watch the first 9 parts. I think we successfully debunked the idea of submarines. If I if I could get my wife to say, "Hey, there's something else going on here," then I think I've done a good job. Yes, you're the dumb broad. If you're fucking a female Trump supporter, you are definitely a dumb broad. He thinks the earth is flat and we can float to the moon.
I don't remember you saying that. When did you say that?
I don't remember saying either. Yes, because why are you bringing Trump into unrelated stuff? No one cares. Because that's all they can do. And then if you start asking them why they support Trump or you start asking them about the thing they say, they go, duh, duh. They don't have anything. It's fucking crazy. And I can see what I'm just trolling. Can you imagine? So this person is acknowledging that they have nothing going on in their life. They're just here to try to fuck with a conversation that's about making life better for everyone. Like
Sad.
that is just
Pathetic, I think the word is.
yeah, gross. Like
Pathetic.
yeah, pathetic, gross, weird. It's a lot of things. It's just who is going to do that? You have really nothing else going. You have a life where you could be doing anything else in the world and this is what you're doing.
Cleaning out.
Right. You could be talking to a loved one. You could be laughing about something with,
Donating some old clothes to a local shelter. People that need it. It's fucking freezing out.
I mean, I'm not even talking about going all noble like that. I'm just talking about you could be watching a movie. Like, you could be doing anything. Instead, you want to watch something where you're getting made fun of and proving the point. Like, you're like, look, I am a dumb broad. You're going to verify that. Nothing you're going to say is going to actually make it seem like you're not. And if you think you're upsetting me, that's even better. Like, look at how arrogant you are. Your arrogance, you want to be upsetting me because I'm upsetting you. If I wasn't upsetting you, you wouldn't be trying to upset me, wanting to upset me. People don't do that. You don't want to go upset people because,
So I was just
I'm just a dick. I just like upsetting people. I'm finding random people and upsetting them.
Well, you could just go home.
No, what I'm saying is upsetting you. Probably because you're a dumb Jay. You're definitely a dumb broad. And you don't like it. And you can't, there's no arguing the facts. So you start arguing your own bullshit, your own narrative. Hi, trolling schizo streamers. Yep, I'm a schizophrenic. It's amazing how stupid everyone is. Like, if you're gonna call me something, make it something that's actually like applied. I'm not talking to voices. I'm not looking out my window thinking people are trying to get me and all that. You don't know what schizophrenic is. Dissociative identity disorder, shit like that. Like, what are you dumb? Yep, gotta make more arguments. It's meth and it's crack because again, what can you say? You can't argue anything I'm saying. You definitely can't argue that Trump is anything good.
Look out for deer.
You know,
10-50.
it's really fucking goofy. You know, and this is always the point where I kind of think, all right, these must, I really, I guess at the end of the day, I think too good of people. I really I don't think regular, like, American, good, decent, whatever people would actually do this. I can't imagine you're that big of a loser that that's what you want to do with your life. Is I'm trolling because I ain't, I got nothing else going on. I'm gonna troll a guy talking about, ending Jays and killing pedos. Gotta troll that guy. Anybody, like, even if you're gonna troll, this is the thing I don't understand is, if you're gonna troll, then why not make it be for something good? Why not troll like newscasters or government officials or police or anything like that, and try to get them, ask them why they're not exposing the pedos, why they're pushing the poison vax, why they're like, why wouldn't you, if you're gonna troll, because you're gonna get the same, if not crazier responses. Like with me, I think you're a pedo. You're probably a pedo J or a bot. So you basically out yourself as that, and then I'm gonna keep referring to you as that. The newscaster, or they're the ones that are more likely to like get upset and make a big deal out of it, and that's what you want, right? You want people to get upset. So I never understand why the troll community, if they are real and they're really just people out there, just nothing else going on in their lives, why aren't they doing good with it? At the very least, just do good with it. Because you actually acknowledge your trolls, that's why they're... No, no, no. I usually don't. I usually don't. And I'm not even really acknowledging them, right? I'm not reading what they're saying and whatnot. I'm just pointing this out because there are people that might not be as familiar with what's going on that will watch this. And there's people wondering why I'm not addressing things, or, wondering what the fuck, why are these guys saying? Like, you have to think, if I'm talking about, cats, and my whole feed is about cats, and you come on the feed and you want to talk about anything but cats, like, who's going to do that? Whatever you want to talk about, there's probably a feed available for you somewhere. Somebody's probably talking about it. But instead, these real people are trying to interfere with this feed. And again, this is a lot of people want evidence, right? You're just crazy. You're a crazy conspiracy guy. You blah blah blah. Where do you get your sources and all that? And people rightfully so want evidence. I'm making some pretty outlandish statements and claims here. So wanting evidence is a good thing. So when I read to you about Team Jorge and how Israel absolutely controls social media, it's so crazy to read how with other programs, how like Facebook brags about the fact that they removed hundreds of profiles from the Philippines or something like that. Hundreds of troll profiles from the Philippines. But it's like in 2023, 2022, 2023, one Israeli Black Ops organization called Team Jorge was exposed as having at least 30,000 to 40,000 fake bot profiles that they use all the time. This is just one Israeli Black Ops that wasn't like disbanded or shut down. It was just exposed. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of other Israeli Black Ops organizations doing the same thing. And so when there are people here, wondering, asking these, asking for validation to my claims and whatnot, Well, first of all, I'm going to read to you about Team Jorge or explain to you about Team Jorge, and you can always look it up. Just look at the name itself. If I say to you it's Team Jorge, are you going to think Israel? If I gave you 100 guesses, would Israel be one of them? No, you'd think it was some sort of Hispanic something or other, Latino. But this is, you know, Team Jorge, the story is evidence. But then when you look at my feed and you look at these dumb comments, understand these people are supposedly mad and they don't like me and I'm this, that, and the other, and I'm on drugs and I kick my dog and I beat my wife and I do all these things, but they never actually debunk anything I'm saying. Nobody touches Team Jorge. Why don't they touch that? Why don't they debunk it? If I'm not telling the truth, why don't they debunk it? That seems like a pretty big fucking deal, don't you think? Don't you think it's a pretty big fucking deal that there's all these people here that are mad at me for not believing in submarines or whatever it is, but they have no opinion on the Israelis and their genocide. They have no opinion when it comes to how do we kill these pedos and get rid of this whole pedo system. How do we? Nothing. And I point out, like, if you're opposing me and you're one of these people, you're good chances. Like, I can't imagine that there are real people that are like, dude, you're against, the Jays and you want to kill pedos? Well, fuck, sign me up. Like, I can't imagine that there are people that aren't like that. I can't imagine there are people out there that are, I think, no, you shouldn't say that about the pedos and the Jays. Who's going to say that shit? Other than the Jays. Other than Team Jorge. And that's what every single comment that comes my way that doesn't address what I'm saying, but tries to talk shit or some kind of... That's what they're doing. They're raising their hand. When I say, who out there is Team Jorge? Who out there is a dumb J? That's what they're doing. Every single fucking comment that comes that way is along those lines. Dumb Jays who support pedos and, clearly support genocide. Let's see if I'm wrong here, okay? So we got dumb Jessica saying nonsense and none of the troll. Submarines aren't real. It'd be a good troll. Blah blah blah. Why look high? Turn your phone on. You're embarrassing yourself. Still not, bro. Bro, still ain't been asleep, huh? Can you give us evidence that you're smoking meth? I wish I could give you evidence of me smoking meth, but I can't. But again, even if I was, shouldn't that make it easier to debunk what I'm saying? And would it matter if I smoked all the meth and I ate all the crack and I kicked all the dog and smacked all the wife? Would that make genocide by the Israelis any less important? Would that make the slavery and the pedo stuff, does that lessen the importance of any of that stuff even a little bit? See, the thing is, you guys love talking about me. You guys are obsessed with me. And I think that might be something, like, if you haven't come out or you're not, living your life as an openly gay man, you should really ask yourself why you're so obsessed with me. If you're not getting paid and you're not really some Israeli troll and you're just obsessed with me, and I keep saying, let's talk about the big picture, and you're like, no, I want to talk about made up stuff about you. That says a lot. That tells me a lot more than I think you're letting yourself understand. Oh, you're watching videos like every time you go live and you're doing amazing. Good, dude. I love your tattoos on your neck, dude. I just wish I could see you in real person. Yeah, I got all those neck tattoos. that's the thing. I saw that one and I was like, oh sweet, that's a long comment. We'll see what that one says. Okay, so nothing, nothing, nothing. I've been in the sun, none of this shit matters. You're right. IDK, you're right, but yeah, that's sorry, that's string and wondering why people are talking about you. No one is obsessed with you. It's a bunch of random people. That's what it is. It's a bunch of random people scrolling by. That's why you come back day after day after day and then spend hour after hour after hour. Yep, you are right. Just a bunch of weird assholes just scrolling by, hearing somebody talking about killing pedos and being like, I don't like that guy. Something's wrong. That guy's wrong. Why should we kill pedos? No, the algorithms show us you. The algorithms show us you. Gotcha. That's what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. And you just have to keep coming. I love this idea that the algorithm does it. Like, I don't have YouTube. Like, I don't know what it's like when you open up YouTube. I know when you open up YouTube, don't you just have to click on the video that's there? You just have to. Have to. Whatever video is there, you click on it, and then you have to stay on it. And then you have to come back day after day. And then you have to like, share, and sub. Because that'd be nice. That'd be nice. Oh, Jesus. So is it any wonder why I really stay away from these comments? Look at this shit. No one is saying anything that fucking... Anything that even remotely deals with what's being talked about. All of these people are either pedos or they're just like piece of shits, but I assume they're pedos. You know, and the whole pedo thing is a lot bigger than we all think. These people exchanging pictures and connecting with each other through these kinds of feeds. If it's been sort of agreed upon that the pedos are now going to meet up on truther feeds, because truthers, you know, people get weird about the truthers anyway. And then they say these kinds of things and they give out little code words or phrases so that they now know to contact each other. Well, that's a way they can do all this shit without the dark web. And it's fucked up. But I just can't imagine that there's anyone that's real that's like, oh, you want to kill pedos? No, I don't support that. I'm gonna do something else instead. Yep, submarines aren't real, kind of nuts. Blah 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 blah. I'm subscribed. We're just here to hear your teachings. Yep. Or you're just whack. Yep, I forgot what you're talking. Exactly, that's what you're supposed to do. Text. TXT. What's going on, man? How much crystal meth have you smoked in the last 2 hours? Well, I've been here for an hour and you haven't seen any, so it must have all been before that, too. You support that shit? You support pedophilia and genocide and stuff? Well, at least you acknowledge it. And you're Neil Golden. That's not really surprising. If I see the name Neil Golden, I'm not at all surprised that you support pedophilia and, you know, genocide and shit. That's how that works, right? Yeah, I know when people have meth pipes, they're usually pretty $30 pipes and shit, right? They're not usually like the cheapest little nasty glass pipes you can get for $1 that then hold the chore boy. Come on now. Like, it's just stupid. It's stupid. And I only address it to point it out. Understand what you're seeing, man. These people are so mad they come back day after day because, again, what? Oh, I'm just here to upset you. I'm just here because you're talking to me. Like, the things that they acknowledge are just such weird things. So you just go throughout the web. You're not good at making conversation with people on a on a regular level. So you know, you're like that kid at school that always gets in trouble because he doesn't know how to have good interaction. But because we're human and we want interaction, he gets himself in trouble just because that's people interacting with him. That's basically what you're saying you're like. Then I start feeling bad. When I start realizing that kind of shit, like I'm like, man, I kind of feel bad. I shouldn't be, tearing these guys apart like that. Their lives are clearly terrible to begin with. I'm doing this, that, and the other thing. What? Oh, it's Papa. Back up. Hey.
Sit down, guys.
How you doing?
Good.
Good. Hey!
Go.
Some old man's here for you.
Go.
Yeah. I think he's a customer. What? Oh. Go touch grass. Okay. Here, I'll touch some grass. Make you feel better. There we go. Touching some grass. You're the kid in school. Walking in circles. Yep, that's what it is. That's me. I'm talking to myself, and it's working because I'm sitting here talking to myself, and you're all paying attention. You're all hearing exactly what I'm saying. Like, I have no issue with the trolls. I got to tell you that. I mean, for the people that think it bothers me, I fucking appreciate it. That's how the algorithm works. The more people that are here and commenting and disliking, liking, whatever you want to do, the better. So don't forget to like and dislike and share and sub and just do everything you can. Because you hate me so much. And it hurts me so much. Look, evidence, lack of evidence is evidence against. So when there's lack of evidence that I'm wrong, like nobody actually addresses anything I'm saying is wrong. Me too. That's evidence that I'm right. You have to remember that these people are mad and they're negative. If they could focus on something I was getting wrong, they would. They would absolutely. If I did a math problem and got the math wrong, or I was talking about something, got the date wrong, they'd be all over that shit. The fact that they can't focus on anything I'm getting wrong tells you that I'm telling the truth. And you already know I'm telling the truth. You don't need other people to tell you what truth is. You're a fantastic barometer. We all are. Like, nobody ever gets completely blindsided, when they get screwed. I mean, it happens, but very rarely does somebody get completely blindsided. Most of the time, something's going to happen and you're just waiting for the shoe to drop. I always think it's funny how, like, old people always claim that they get scammed when they're trying to pull off a scam. If somebody calls you or whatever and says, hey, I know any other company you go with is going to pay you 2 points return, but I'm going to pay you 5 points return. You're trying to take advantage. There's no way. Why would that company be paying that much money but nobody else is? You're trying to take advantage of a scam, and when it doesn't work out, then you claim that you got scammed. Well, if you would have just put your money in a really reputable thing that doesn't promise more than it should, then none of this would have happened. But we don't look at it like that. Let's see. They would 100% call you out. I'd be curious to hear some entirely unrelated subjects and theories you have. announces Facebook will be third-party fact-checking. Yeah,
Will
right.
not be.
Well, no. I don't.
End third-party fact-checking. Admits tool was used for censorship.
Yeah, I'd have to see the actual article.
I've been seeing this for 3 or 4 days now.
Mm-hmm. I have a book club and argued that audiobooks aren't reading, but I misspoke and said read an audiobook. So a bunch of people were like, yeah, but you called it right, of course. When people don't have an argument, like if they had something better to say, they absolutely would. And every time they pop up and say something stupid and try to call out some simple mistake that obviously is a simple mistake or a slip of the tongue or whatever, and then they just focus on that, it's because that's all they have. And the thing is, we are all well aware of that. If we see that dynamic happening with children, we're quick to step in and be like, all right, guys, come on, you got to let him make his argument, and then you have to listen to him, and, you'll do that type of shit. Don't start arguing other points. Argue the point that he's making, and, But when it comes to adults or yourself, people just, no, I don't do that. And then you have to have somebody that comes in with some dumb, I bet you're a Biden supporter. Yep. I'm dumb enough to fall for one side of it because you're dumb enough to fall for one side of it, right? Exactly. This is like, it's cool to have actually somebody real here that can have the conversation, because I actually know if the TXT person disagrees or says something, hey, well, what about, I know that's a real opinion. That's a real person that, it's not just this dumb nonsense. Look at this dumb nonsense. Time to block this fool. Please do. Why wouldn't you? You've been here for weeks. And I guarantee you show back up again. He must have done it. What's the guy talking about? We need to speak in person, I believe. Why would we need to speak in person? I don't need to talk to you. Blaine's back. Good old Blaine. Dude, take a shower. Get some clean clothes. Oh, yeah, that's what it is. Uh-oh. We got somebody yelling. When are you going to admit smoking meth while working at the... You mean like every time you call out someone using internet grammar? Yeah, absolutely. Every time you want to come on my feed and act like I'm stupid and you're more intelligent than me, and you can't be bothered to use the correct words on a computer that gives you the correct words, yeah, no, I'm not going to let that slide. But then again, I don't let that slide with my supporters either. So I guess you're not going to call that part out though, right? Because when my supporters do it, I always call them out too, don't I? You don't think so? I believe you need to talk to me. See you soon. Go ahead, come by. We'll see how quick the cops show up. Trust me, cops love my house. They'll be here in a minute.
Well, they're always around here anyways because we're right by the high school, so.
But this is one of those things where it's like, again, I can't make any reasonable arguments. I can't say anything that matters. So I'm going to try to do this instead. Like, what's the point? Whenever I have a conversation with someone anymore, I want it to be on the live. Because I want, like, if I'm wrong, I want people to see that. If this person is going to make an argument that I have, like, I want that to be like, oh shit, okay, here. I always want these opinions, these dialogues and whatnot to be handled and seen by as many people as possible, just so we all see it. We all see how there's differences and there's all that shit. I'd love it if somebody could actually engage me in something, but that just doesn't seem to happen. Again, look at these dumb comments. Didn't you get charged for indecent? Yep, I got charged for indecent exposure. Yep.
When was that? Tell me.
All those that time ago.
Been with you for 20 years, and I didn't know that.
I did get a ticket for peeing in public once, but that was at like 2 a.m. outside of a bar in the back of an air. Like, I can't believe the cops. It was
Must have been.
shortly before we met.
That's it.
Yeah.
In Michigan?
Mm-hmm. I think the law changed like right afterward too.
All about signing the sex register.
Yeah. That was
yeah,
stupid.
because Mike Waite got that. Well, are you sure?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Definitely happened.
Because I was working with.
I was at a bar. It wasn't even a bar. It was like it was Sarah's dad was doing a concert, and there was a couple other bands there. Downtown Brown was there. And it was like at this building. Maybe it was a tattoo shop. I don't know what it was, but it was like at this building, and it only had like one bathroom, one male and one female bathroom. And they were serving alcohol, and everybody was hammered in the line for the bathroom, and it was like one stall bathrooms. So, like, I was either gonna piss my pants or go outside. So I went outside, and I went like between some cars. It was dark, and I'm peeing, and I see the car like out of my peripheral, and I'm like, fuck. And it comes up and it stops, and I had to go. Like, I was still going this whole time. And the cops, like, he gets out and he's like, blah blah blah, and I'm like, just a second. And luckily for me, there happened to be two girls sitting in the car. Like, I was in between the cars. There's a car here and there's a car. There was two girls sitting in the car right here drinking. They were drinking in the car. I feel so bad for those girls. They wouldn't have gotten seen if it wasn't for me. But the cop, like, just wrote me the quick ticket and went right to them and was like, so what do you...
Still wrote you a ticket?
Oh, yeah. It's a revenue service. The police are a revenue service.
They usually let the little fish go if they have a bigger fish right there, though.
Yeah, but do you see what I look like? In Livonia or Westland, whatever it was?
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you were in Detroit.
No.
Yeah, she said that he did play it. It was a tattoo shop, I think.
Well, he played at tattoo shops all the time.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. They were a tattoo shop kind of band.
Yeah.
But, like, it was, they're a revenue service. That's what they do. Cops don't keep you safe. Like, they do occasionally. But most of what cops do is fuck with good people who are not necessarily following whatever rules they want followed.
To the T.
Right. Oh, you made a turn without using your turn signal, or you crossed the lane, and whatever it may be. And there are endless videos online showing cops just fucking with people to fuck with people. We love to say that they are these really noble people and they put their lives on the line, and they do. But understand that it takes 6 months to become a cop. You have to go through 6 months of the academy to become a cop. It's not like,
How do they call it an academy if it's not even, academy's like a couple years, 4-year university.
You got to go to 2 years worth of schooling to be considered a barber.
But see, nowadays, don't they require a criminal justice degree? No?
No, God, no. No, these are, just like they shouldn't let women be cops, there should be a height requirement for cops. I'm fucking serious. You laugh, but as somebody that's my height, and I'm not even like super tall, I have dealt with so many little guys with fucking Napoleon syndromes. And I guarantee any guy that's over 6 feet tall will back that statement up. Little white guys.
You're also seeing a side that a 5'10" dude isn't seeing from them, which is jealousy.
Right, but I'm not talking about. I said somebody that's tall.
Anybody over 6 foot that deals with a little guy, you have the element of jealousy also mixed in there, so it makes it worse.
That's what the Napoleon complex is, right?
Well, no,
Yeah, it's
going around with an attitude in general doesn't matter.
I'm not gonna play semantics. Yes, whatever. It's jealousy, it's anger, it's all of those things. These are words that we use to describe emotions that affect people in different ways. Whatever. I've dealt with it way too much. I've seen it with way too many cops. Especially when you get one of those like 5'2", 5'4" cops. Those guys have chips on their fucking shoulder, and to pretend like they don't is insane. And I think of that the same way I think of women on their periods. It's unreasonable to think that that guy wouldn't have a chip on his shoulder.
If society shifts its programming to
exactly,
it's okay to be a short dude, there's nothing wrong with it.
Exactly, but we don't have that. Yeah, when we have that, then we have that. But that's the same time we have, like, women get, period week off. Why don't we do that? I would love to do a study to see, you took a bunch of women cops, women judges, women in positions of power over people, and you looked at their complaints, and I would be willing to bet, I could be wrong, but I'd be willing to bet that there's a week each month that they get more complaints than they do other weeks. And that's not every single woman for sure. But the ones that get a lot of complaints and shit, I'd be willing to bet that it's higher during their period. And the reason is because it's totally justifiable. Being on your period has to suck. This is the thing that I don't get. I'm not saying it like, oh, just pull up your bootstrings and fucking get over it. I'm saying that shit sounds awful. I can't imagine going through it myself. I don't want you to have to go through it and pretend to be normal when, how could you? On the flip side, taller men, often little brother, shorter guys. There is an argument that could help the position of authority, but the power dynamic can still be. For sure. But you're not going to deal with like little brothering someone is a lot better than having a chip on your shoulder and wanting to fight and having an attitude towards someone because they're taller than you.
And having access to a loaded weapon.
Right, loaded firearms. I say this all the time. You're more likely to be killed by a cop than anyone else. We just don't talk about this, but it's the truth. Nobody else walks around with a gun that they're allowed to use and not get in trouble for. They can make up whatever reason they want to. They have qualified immunity, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, every once in a while, one will get in trouble. But even when they get in trouble, they're off on like paid leave and blah, blah, blah. It's stupid. These are, like I said, these are people that have gone 6 months of training. There are endless videos online showing you how stupid and unprofessional these people are. I don't think cops should swear at us. I don't think cops should spit. I don't think cops should have chaw in their mouth. What? These are professionals.
Can you spit in the office?
Right. Is that how that works?
Can you call customers and swear at them?
Right.
I didn't care. Like, in the mortgage industry, I didn't give a fuck what that customer said to one of my loan officers. My loan officer cussed back at them, they'd get written up. And then they'd get fired
as they should
for the documentation. So, we're the customer. They work for us.
They work for us.
They can't swear at us. Now, granted, we shouldn't be disrespectful and, cuss at them either, but we are the customer. If we do, they have to maintain their cool no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they're trained to do.
Customer service is.
But not just this is beyond anything else. No customer service rep is allowed to have a gun. is allowed to have weapons, is allowed to trump up charges that can affect the rest of your fucking life. Like, I've seen so many times where they handcuff somebody and they go to do something and the person's like, hey, what are you doing? And when the person does that, they go, what? And slam the person down on their face.
You're resisting. No, I'm asking what you're doing.
They slam a person who's handcuffed down, meaning they can't do the natural reaction to put your hands up to block your face. This is constant. Our cops are infallible here in Canada, but from my experience with cops from both sides, our cops here are way more focused on diffusing situations and serving the community. Well, I mean, you don't constantly hear about
Canadian cops killing people.
right. I mean, it's a fucking it's an epidemic.
News, of course, but
at the same time, I see both sides. I say all the time, young black men need to stop running from cops. If you get pulled over or whatever, especially if you're wearing the I'm a gangster thug uniform, even if you're not that guy, if you're wearing the uniform, you have to, like, you're wearing that uniform so girls think you're that. You're wearing that uniform so life thinks you're that. So if the cops think you're that because of your uniform, you can't blame them. And if you're going to wear the uniform, most of the time, what, you got a bag of weed on you or something? You're going to go to jail for a minute? That's nothing big. Do your little time. Isn't that good? Isn't that like street cred? I got street cred. But to run from people who are looking for a reason to shoot you, that's foolish. You are giving them the reason they need. They're looking, their itchy trigger finger.
And then God forbid if you reach in your pocket, get your cell phone, or your keys are stabbing you or something, throw that weed out of your pocket. Whatever.
God forbid you're an old woman who called you to their house because they thought something was going on and they had a pot of boiling water on the stove and they rebuked you in the name of Jesus, so you shot her in the head. You guys forgot about that one, right? That crime sure disappeared quickly. You guys remember that one from a couple of months back? Like the woman with the elderly woman, she's old with issues, calls the police because she thinks somebody broke in her house or something like that. And they're there and she's got a pot of boiling water on the stove and the guy says, can you go turn that off so it's not, and she goes to turn it off and dump the water in the sink and he said something and she goes, oh no, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. And he goes, what? You don't say that shit. You know, pow. Fucking A. Let's watch it.
The cop did that?
Let's watch it.
She didn't throw the water out of him?
She didn't do anything. Rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Cop. Deputy who, let's see what they say here. Oh, he got indicted.
Moments better, especially when they're egg
But I bet nothing comes of it.
So fresh and
Not gonna get in trouble.
Deliciously superior nutrition too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best.
Good thing I got that commercial. Oh no, this is Sonia Massey. This is different.
In Sangamon County, Deputy Sean Grayson shot and killed Massey in her home last month. He was responding to a 911 call at the time about a possible intruder.
Oh yeah, this is
in his field case report released today, Grayson wrote that he thought Massey was going to throw boiling water on him and his partner, and that she was going to kill him. Has been
bullshit.
There was no water left in the pot, right?
She wasn't even in Elaine, so they're outside the house for a while, snooping around.
And I'm just trying to get help. Came to the door, her first words to the officers was, "Please don't hurt me. And I'm just trying to get help."
So what'd you hear?
Somebody outside my house.
this your car over here? Is this your car over here? Oh. That's not your black car in the driveway? Oh, well, we checked your yard, we walked around the whole block, we didn't see anybody. We don't.
She's clearly got issues.
We don't walk around.
I know, y'all. Please, God, please, God. I'm trying to get help, y'all, but
What do you need help with?
nothing. I just, please, God, please, God, please.
She has no idea she's about to die.
What? What do you need help with?
Nothing. I just wanted to see if I could help me.
What do you want help with? What do you want help with?
I heard somebody outside.
Yeah, we checked your house, we checked your backyard. I walked all the way through all these backyards.
He seems really compassionate,
Checked my
doesn't he?
yard. We didn't see nobody. So nobody's out here.
You didn't see anybody.
Nope.
Cop shooting
Checked the whole area.
at the pine cones. No, I know which one you're talking about, though.
Door.
Oh, I was trying to put on some clothes, sir. I'm sorry.
What took you so long to answer the door?
Is there anything else we can do for you? Is there anything else I can do for you?
No, sir.
Okay. All right.
Here is when the officers were about to leave. Somehow the deputy makes his way inside of Miss Sonia's house.
Miss
Doing all
Sonia.
right, Vince? Sure? All right. Okay. All right. That's not your black car, though. That's your
Why are you asking her again?
You don't know? If someone just parked it in your driveway?
They brought it to my driveway.
And just left it?
Yeah, the acorn shit.
Yeah. 19, I got a 20 clear. Does anyone else live here with you? David Mary, 43556.
Sounds like fireworks. Yeah. So how is the deputy in her house now? They're looking for shit in her house to find wrong.
Yeah, I got the sheriff department here, but I was calling for help from y'all.
Are you there with me?
They're here in my house right now.
Okay, well, you don't need to talk to them.
No, hold on, wait a second, sir.
Hang on, Carlos. You're there with the deputy, correct?
No, hold on, okay?
Hold on for what?
Just 1 second, okay?
She's clearly mental.
Why is he in her house?
Intimidating her.
Why is he there? When she said, no, that's all, he should have left.
They should have left. Because they're looking for something.
Just need your name so we can get out of here.
And now they need the name. Now they got to do this shit.
Don't. What for?
Previous, yeah, it
Okay,
was.
what was the damage?
Dent, I believe.
Well, what about windows?
Oh, that, it was something that happened earlier.
Okay, perfect. What is your last name? Shouldn't have to think about your last name. You're not in trouble. I just need to text.
Massey.
Massey. Yeah, you have an ID, that'd make things so much easier.
Oh my God.
I just
You don't need an ID.
And I'll get out of your hair.
I want to show y'all my paperwork.
I will get your paperwork. What paperwork?
I got some paperwork.
Well, just get your ID. Well, let's get your ID first, and then one task at a time.
This guy looks like he's roided to the gills.
Deputy Grayson is now asking her for her ID, then he immediately directs her to go remove the boiling pot from the stove.
Your ID, one task at a time. So let's do an ID, and then you can dig around for your paperwork.
I don't know where my ID
You
is.
got that stack right there, maybe?
What? She doesn't need this shit.
Check on her. We don't need a fire.
Oh yeah? Look at this dumb J down there.
This is when Miss Sonia Massey was
That's the
wrongfully
best they can do.
executed in her
Should have
home
obeyed.
by the deputy
She
who
did
Miss
obey.
Sonia threatened him with boiling water. Never did Sonia indicate or threaten the officer that she was
But
going
it's good to
throw
see
water
that
on
there's this Kilgore person that's coward. That's the type of bitch that would never say anything in public.
Oh, wait, where? Hot steaming water.
Away from my husband in water?
Yeah.
Oh, I was refused in the name of Jesus. I refused you in the name of
Better fucking not. I swear to God, I'll fuck
Hear that?
The fucking drop the fucking pot. Shots fired. Shots fired. Shots fired.
You didn't see that? What the fuck are you looking at? I'm sorry, she says. Yeah. That's the kind of guy that's given a badge. Come over. Yeah, okay. Cody Lee Basterson. Guys, everybody, go check out Cody, C-O-T-Y, Cody. What kind of name is Cody? Cody Lee Basterson, or Batterson. Cody Lee Batterson. Everybody should go check out that coward. Can you imagine? You'd show up and he'd be like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't think anybody'd show up. He's giving his address. Everybody should show up. He's in Jackson. 611 Morrill, Jackson, Michigan. Cody Lee Batterson, Jackson, Michigan, 611 Morrill. He's a cowardly little dick racist motherfucker. He's probably a bootlicker. He's probably a bootlicker. You know how those bootlickers are. Cody. Can't find him. I was trying to find a nice picture for you guys, but I guess not. Quick Google search shows 3 domestic assault charges under that name. Oh, well, there you go. Yeah. You live in Jackson? Well, go say hello, Anthony. This guy's a wife beater, too. That's fucking good to know. No, I don't suggest anybody do anything violent to anybody. If you want to have a chat with the guy, then have a chat with the guy. But just be on the defense. Apparently, he's the type that hits women, so that little dick will make you do crazy things, man. Crazy things. He wants people to come over. Can you imagine being that miserable in your life? I go on random YouTube feeds and try to pick fights with people. I don't have a car, so I can't drive anywhere. But I'm going to tell people to come to my house. Please come to my house and see me. People are dumb, man. People are dumb. And you have to understand, like, to be that sort of ignorant, like, this guy is dumb. Like, I'm not saying it as just like I'm being mean, throwing out words. This guy's dumb. You don't say things like that. You don't have that kind of mentality unless you're just plain stupid. And that's, you know, that's the thing we have to figure out how to override. Because at the end of the day, that level of stupidity is really selfish. If you can provide that level of stupidity with some sort of comfort and some sort of like guarantee, hey, you're going to be okay. They're more likely to chill out. But the thing is, it's guys like that, like any females on this feed are welcome to chime in here. Do the guys with bigger dicks tend to be the guys that are more tolerant? I bet you've experienced that a lot more than, especially if your boyfriend's there, you're willing to admit. The guys with the bigger dicks are the ones that are like, yeah, gay rights are fine. Yeah, I don't have any racist issues, blah, blah, blah. It's the little dick guys that always have the big issues. And it really sucks. I feel really bad for them. For us. I feel really bad for us. because, you know, we can't help it. We were born this way. Well, we were born actually bigger, but our parents thought it was a good job to make things smaller because, you know, that's what God wants, apparently. He makes mistakes. Every penis he makes, it's wrong. I look up the acorn cop. Yeah, well, there's a conversation about the stress level they're under, but there's no. They are under a ton of stress. There's no doubt about it. But at the same time, a lot of them should never be cops in the first place. You know? And the problem is, and I'll say this, you know, forever, there are no good cops. Right? It sucks. I wish there were, but there are no good cops. All of them are bad. Because you never hear about cops stopping other cops from violating people. You never hear about cops stopping other cops from hurting people and all that stuff. That thin blue line is thick as far as they're concerned. And they you know, they stand by that over everything else, over our rights, over, you know, over everything. This dude thought he was shot because he did tactical roll unloading into a car because an acorn hit the roof. Yeah, no, I watch Press NH Now brings that up a lot. A lot of the First Amendment guys bring that up a lot. Press NH Now is great. Direct D is great. If you guys aren't subscribed to these guys, you should be. Auditing Erie County. You know, I can't think of all the names, but these guys are out there doing really good fucking work. You know, if I wasn't in my situation, I'd be doing the same thing, but I can't. You know, I can't do it. I wish I could. There's so much that I wish I could do. I so badly wish I could do the pedo hunter shit. I just can't. Physically, it's not something I'm capable of doing right now. The pedo hunters, to me, are these unsung heroes in our society. And of course, the system makes them out to be the bad guys all the time. And you have to wonder why. You know? I mean, what shut down To Catch a Predator was that they caught a high-ranking, like a congressman or something like that, and they were going to go to his house to intervene, and the motherfucker killed himself. And his sister ends up suing NBC and all this other shit and wins, I think. She won a bunch of money. Because this fucking pedo killed himself. This cowardly pedo killed himself before he could be held accountable. That's what killed To Catch a Predator. Plenty of hackers out there willing to spend a couple.
Wait.
What?
Over by where I put the lunch boxes, there's a box of Walker's Short Ribs.
Yes, I will. No, I know I can't. And any that are missing aren't from me.
No, they're totally from you.
No, they're not. I didn't eat any of them. I didn't even know they were there. Huh?
I already know you did.
I didn't eat any of them. I didn't know they were there. Don't you think if I would have known they were there, I would have eaten them by now? That's a good point, isn't it?
It's laying around. Oh my God.
I ate two.
You're a fucking liar.
I did. I
No.
ate this one and I ate this one.
It's not one in those spots.
Yeah, 2 spots. There's only 2 cookies per spot.
Pizza ones, those are my favorite ones.
The Christmas trees are your favorite ones, and I left the Christmas trees.
There are no Christmas trees in this package.
Oh, well. Whatever, man. I think they shut it down because it was found to be entrapment. Yeah, No, it wasn't. And that's even if that part's there's truth to that. That's not what it was. But the idea that there's some sort of entrapment, there's some sort of victim in that situation on the pedo side. How many people have seen that show and seen what they do and thought any bit of it was wrong, entrapment or anything, felt any bit of sympathy for the guys being caught? Nobody. None of the Goyim think that way. The only people that think that way are the Jays that make the laws.
Yeah, my shit.
And the chosen, the chosen non-Jays that the chosen pick to associate with. But so you have to ask yourself, like, to me, I think they should be able to use two of the, quote, hottest 13, 14-year-olds they can find, have the girls offering, arguing over who gives a better BJ and they need a judge, and they actually have money. They can actually throw down the Uber to get the guy there. They just need somebody to be a judge for their BJ contest. If you show up to that, fuck you. There's no sympathy. That's not entrapment. They should be able to reach out. They should be able to do everything possible to get people that would take that bait to take that bait. And if anybody disagrees with me on that, I'd love to hear your reasoning. Hey, 98% of them, but there are a few. There are a few. Yeah, bullshit. No, there's no. There's a few that maybe tricked you. There's a few actors. The thing is, if the punishment was more severe, there would be less crime. Because at the end of the day, most of those guys are absolute fucking cowards. And if they knew they couldn't get off by just hiring some piece of shit Jay and get a little slap on the wrist, they wouldn't do it. If they knew that they would get killed for doing it, they wouldn't do it. They're fucking cowards. I'm just gonna try one. I haven't had these before.
Fucking liar. Oh, my shit.
My stuff is our stuff. Her stuff is her stuff. Welcome to marriage.
Proper order of things.
Mm-hmm. Why is the coward deleting his messages? Any law, anything that doesn't say you get killed for fucking with children, you get killed for rape. Those laws need to change. And do I mean the 17-year-old is having sex with the 15-year-old? No. I think there should be a limit. Maybe it's 21, maybe it's 18, maybe whatever it is. We don't kill you if you violate that. Of course, if you're fucking 17, 18 and you're fucking with little children, 11, something like that, well, I don't know what we do with you then. And the fact that we act like the law is the same law for everything is stupid. The age of consent is 16. It's one thing if you're 18 and you're fucking a 16-year-old. That's still weird, but it's one thing. If you're 38 and you're fucking a 15-year-old or 16-year-old, something's wrong with you. For you to even find that attractive. Like, I know for me, I remember I was young. I was in my early 20s, and my dad was visiting me in California, and we were watching TV, and an Ashante video came on, and I was like, man, she's hot. And he was like, yeah, whatever. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, she just looks like a little girl to me. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, I don't know how to explain it, but as I've gotten older, those girls in their late teens, early 20s, they just don't do it for me anymore. And I was just like, there's no fucking way. What are you talking about? But I get it now. I'm way more attracted to MILFs than I am to, you know. Like, if I look at you and you look like you're in your early 20s, late teens, whatever, the first thing I think about is like, oh, what would I talk to you about? Like, how could I even get to that point?
Oh, I bet she likes mumble rap. God damn it.
I bet she just, I mean, I can't even imagine, like,
Not much in common, man.
right, what? I couldn't be like, oh yeah, that's like the Dukes of Hazzard. And she'd be like, oh yeah, I heard of that show.
Right.
Isn't that the one with the Knight Rider? While you are fucking 80, bro. Yep. I'm while you are fucking 80, bro. That's me.
You're 80 what? You're 80 houseplants?
Yeah.
You're 80 spiders? You're 80 what?
He's too stupid to get it. Two lames in a one bedroom. That's us. Our one bedroom apartment in the middle of this neighborhood full of houses on the second story of our two-story basement. I love when people do that shit, right? Because it just shows you how dumb they are. Anybody that's willing to say something that stupid without this proves that this person says things without having any knowledge whatsoever. And something that easy to like debunk. All I got to do is look out the window and show what an idiot this guy is. For you to say something that stupid, it always just it never ceases to amaze me that people can be that stupid. Continuously be that stupid. You run out of shit to say, you run out of any sort of argument, so it's like, "Oh yeah, well, you have a green car. Ha, you have a green car." Yep, I live in my mom's attic now. Yep, this is the attic. Second story attic.
Duh.
Gotcha, dude. All that because, I hate pedos and I hate the Jays and, well, he can't argue those things. Yep, my boyfriend, blah, 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 blah. So now I'm sitting here arguing with some dude in middle school, I guess. So stupid. I appreciate you. I don't mean to, like, try to alienate you or dissuade you from being here. I want you to stay here and keep making your really... Are they supposed to be insightful comments or are they supposed to be hurtful? Because if they're supposed to be hurtful, then ow, ooh, ow, they hurt me so much. But if they're supposed to be like eye-opening, then man, thank you so much. You are really putting a light on things that we haven't thought about before. Either way, whatever it is, I'm glad you're here. Don't forget to like, share, and sub. Or dislike. Don't forget to dislike. Yup, my Grammy. Me and my grandma hanging out. Playing Fortnite with your grandma.
Who's your grandma? Me?
Yeah, you're my grandma. I'm hanging out with you. Come on, sweetheart. Hurry up and roll that blunt. God damn it. My arthritis. My arthritis is acting up. Fucking idiot. Instead of this being this opportunity to unify, make everyone's life better, you know? Instead of us goyim getting together and fixing these problems that affect us all. Dumbasses. They have us, sitting here being dumbasses. Because we're so like this is what ignorance breeds, right? It shows that we yearn for it, right? We thirst for it. We have this need to be a part of things, to be a part of conversations, to be a part of the dialogue. And that when we can't, it bothers us. You know? Like I'm talking about it. I always compare it to, like, a friend and I are at dinner and we're talking about, money in some way. And one of the kids is standing there just watching, looking back and forth, waiting for his opportunity to jump in. And he finally finds it and he goes, "Oh, I have money too. I've been saving my allowance and I have $18.38. I'm going to buy a car." And we're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, buddy, that's really cool. I bet you will. That'll be a sweet car, won't it? Yeah, it's gonna be really fast. All right, cool. Hey, let me and Uncle Billy talk about this a little bit more, and then we'll come play, okay? Okay." That's sort of what it seems like, except the kid doesn't go, "Okay." The kid goes, "No, keep talking about me. Please keep talking about me, and then we'll talk about you. We'll talk about me. We'll talk about the bigger picture." This is some coffee shit, so we'll see what happens. We better go now, because if you don't go now, you're going to go in a minute. Are the allegations true? Yep, I'm 4'11", for sure. Like, this is exactly why I can't bother with the comments, guys. I want to, but nothing intelligent comes my way. So what am I supposed to do? And yesterday we were talking about the Constitution. Maybe we should continue talking about that, because that was a really interesting thing. Belch. Excuse me. All right. So yesterday I actually went on into the Articles of Confederation, and I shouldn't have. I should stick with this, and then we'll go back to the Articles of Confederation. But one of the big problems with it is, you start going into it, and you find these other pieces, these older pieces. And I always, when I'm doing this, I always want to find the oldest piece and start with that. But nothing intelligent. Yep, nothing. Gotcha. Yep. Mohammed says, Mohammed, you took your comment away. Explain the introduction of the Constitution to the idiots. Explain the introduction of the Constitution to us idiots. I guess I plan to. Bath salts now, huh? On any given day, how many comments would you say support you, and how many don't? I don't keep track. Don't even think about it. And I think you guys have me mistaken. I think all of these comments support me. I'm crazy, remember? Every single comment that doesn't address what I'm saying and tell me what I'm wrong about is supporting me. Because if they could tell me what I'm wrong about, they would. But instead, they're desperately trying to do this and this and this, and everything that's said that isn't about what's being talked about is a, you know, a backwards way of telling me I'm right. So, you know, there's a ton of them. I mean, there's a ton of bots, and tons of stupid out there. That's what we're doing this for. I don't actually do this for people to support me. I'm not doing this because I want people to pat me on the back and tell me how great I am. I do this because I want people to tell me what I'm wrong about. So it's interesting. Yeah. You know. Let's see. Okay, the Constitution of the United States is the supreme law of the United States. It supersedes the Articles of Confederation, the nation's first constitution. On March 4th, 1789. I thought that was so weird when I heard about that. Because I remember learning about the Articles of Confederation, but I couldn't have told you what they were. I asked my kids yesterday what they were, and they had no idea. I don't know how well this is going to work out. Some coffee weed. All right. Originally including 7 articles, the Constitution delineates the frame of the federal government. The Constitution's first 3 articles embody the doctrine of the separation of powers, in which the federal government is divided into 3 branches. The legislative branch, consisting of the bicameral Congress, Article 1. It's bicameral. Bicameralism is a type of legislature that is divided into 2 separate assemblies, chambers, or houses, known as a bicameral legislature. I've never heard that before. Bicameralism is distinguished from unicameralism, in which all members deliberate and vote as a single group. As of 2020, roughly 40% of the world's national legislature are bicameral, while unicameralism represents 60% nationally and much more at the subnational level. So we don't have that. We actually have the lesser one. That's kind of weird, don't you think? Nothing. Nothing. You have to do it to achieve some support. Otherwise, what's the point of this? Planting seeds. No. There are, I mean, we have at least 6 likes. Who knows what'll come of it?
No.
But there are,
No.
like today, the guy that reached out to me today.
No.
Dude I went to school with. Dude who ran out and got his kids shots and believes the earth is round and blah, blah, blah. Out of the blue today, he sends me some goofy meme showing the difference between flat earth and round earth, and just some stupid that it actually doesn't make any sense. But it just goes to show you that when something in this guy's world goes into this world, he automatically thinks of me. And that's what all this is about. We are building a community. There are plenty of people out there that are quiet, and they don't speak up, but they're fucking grateful to finally have somebody saying what I'm saying. The numbers don't lie. There are a shit ton of people that come through here. And as time progresses and more people experience, even if they pop in for just a minute, a seed's planted. You don't leave this feed the same way you came in. Big ass, dumbass cat.
This big belly.
So there's going to be things after you leave here, if you watch the news, especially when it comes to the J stuff and the Israel stuff. That's unavoidable. After you leave here, you're gonna notice that holy shit, there sure are a lot more Jays than I had originally thought there were. At this rate, you get more viewers than me from all the hate. So I'm a small fry. Yeah, for sure. I'm okay with it. You know, I don't know anybody else that has my subscriber count and consistently gets the numbers I do and then gets the big numbers that I do. Obviously, I'm doing something that matters. Obviously, I'm doing something that matters that brings about a weird form of hate that doesn't really exist. You know, they, and I can explain it all. I'm not just sitting here telling you guys my opinions and shit. And I'm not telling you the same thing Alex Jones said, and I watched his video, and then I go do a video and pretend like I just came up with all that shit. I've been told for years that I need to stop what I'm saying and focus back on chemtrails, focus back on this, you know. And I refused. And I kept telling you guys, people forget, or you weren't there. I promised that if Israel didn't do exactly what Israel did, I did May or June of 2023. So several months in advance, I flat out said if Israel doesn't do some sort of false flag that leads into genocide by December of this year, I'll quit. I'll go dark. You know? And it wasn't like anybody else was saying this shit. Or if they were, I didn't see them. But I've been saying these things and backing it up with the evidence that they supply us this whole time. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I don't make any money. And I give you guys free music for watching. So you can't say I'm influenced by anything or anyone or blah, blah, blah. If anything, everything I do is detrimental to the things I want. You know, if you want a career in music, you better not talk bad about them Jays. But this is, you know, this is an open platform. Everybody always has to remember, nobody is forcing anyone to say anything. Everyone that's here has the freedom to say whatever the fuck they want to say. And if it has to do with something reasonably like associated with the feed, I'm going to read it. I'm hoping you disagree with me. And yet there are hundreds of clearly fake. If you look them up, they have 0 subscribers, 0 videos, 0 anything. It's all zeros. Hundreds of fake profiles that are clearly obsessed with me. And obsessed with me in a way that they they claim they want me to stop. They claim they want me to not talk about these things. Well, who the fuck is going to say that? Who is going to be that interested in me? I would love to do a podcast with Kanye West. That'd be fucking great, wouldn't it? I'd call him out. Although Kanye continues to say things that, like, totally rock the boat. You just don't hear about them. They just aren't making a big deal about it. You guys have to remember, none of you follow Kanye West. None of you have anything to do with Kanye West. You don't follow his shit. You don't follow his pages. You really don't. Most of you don't even like him, right? Yeah, he's just an idiot. Black guy who doesn't just shut up and dribble. Shut up and dribble, black guy. So, why do you know about what Kanye supposedly tweeted? Or said on Drunk Champs or Drink Champs, whatever. Do you follow that page too? No. The only reason you know anything about what Kanye said, the only reason you know anything about what Kyrie did, is because they wanted you to. They gave him the spotlight. I remember the news was saying that they were like trying to associate him with white supremacist groups. And they were saying that they're white supremacist groups because it was a group called the Goyim Defense League, who I guess doesn't exist. I've tried to find them. They don't exist. The Goyim Defense League was standing on a random overpass with signs saying things like Kanye was right. A random overpass, and so like I would have never seen that shit. I think most of the people that were driving couldn't see that shit. They were driving. It was fast. And yet that shit got national news. And Kanye West is associated with this white supremacist group, the Goyim Defense League. Doesn't that sound like a white supremacist group? The Goyim Defense League? Yeah, that sounds like an aggressive league, doesn't it? Amazing, right? It's just amazing. And you totally fell for it. Kanye's gonna unalive himself. Kanye's gonna unalive himself. Everybody was saying. I was like, what are you talking about? Kanye's just doing his job. He's doing what he was told. Kanye will be just fine afterward. Don't worry about it. And when Kanye was given the microphone again, after saying he was going DEFCON 3 on the Jays and all, what did he say? Yeah, it's all about Beyonce and Jay-Z and Michael Jordan and LeBron James and Shaquille O'Neal. And he just named off a bunch of black people. He brought your attention to black people. When the Epstein list was given out, you know, that 1,000 pages of nonsense that you had to pour through to maybe put something together only to find out there wasn't much in it anyway. And after a week, people started saying, hey, this is bullshit. What's going on here? Don't worry. Cat Williams is appearing. Dun, 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 dun. And he's going to do what? Get you to focus on black people. Steve Harvey and what's that little fucker's name? I don't remember. Whatever his name is.
Little fucker.
Yeah, Kevin Hart. And the thing is, it's well played. It's perfectly played, right? Because Cat Williams, the way that was played, you know, putting it on Club Shay Shay and blah blah blah. We are the reason why that blew up is because the Goyim are fucking. We hate this shit. You know, I'm sure they were shocked by the response. I'm sure they didn't think it was going to do what it did. But that shit blew up because we are so tired of this shit. And that's when they ran Operation Diddy. And they got all the attention back onto a black guy. And I tell you guys, I told you this the other day, I hate to say it, but with my wife, I've learned to she's trusting and she has a good heart. But like if she says, hey, this happened, that I got to look it up because she probably didn't look it up. She just saw the meme or something. But the other day she said, you know, she brought up how the fires are triangulated and they, you know, they destroyed all the evidence and it doesn't matter. Like what she said made sense. And that's, you know, that's the dangerous thing. Like that would be, I even, and I did look that up afterward to try to gain more information, but I believed it. When she said it, I believed it. And that one is, you know, when you start looking at the narrative that actually happened, and you think about the fact that like, a bunch of Jays, their houses didn't burn, but so almost like they had secretly huddled all the non-Jays into an area to begin with.
Yet they're putting out this meme that's saying this house that's standing and all the houses burned around. It's a Christian's house.
Yeah, I saw that.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
They're putting that out on because the Jewish people's homes were not burned.
Well, that bright red roof, that was interesting. I don't know. I don't know how anything could burn like it did and one house stand in the middle of it all. That doesn't make any sense. Is that even a real picture? But, you know, to think that why wouldn't Diddy have had his house completely rigged with cameras and shit? You know, if Epstein did it, why wouldn't Diddy have done it?
Because he's a stupid black guy.
Right. That's how we think.
That's what they were counting on.
But how does... So I wonder, does like... How much of this stuff why wasn't it all uploaded to a cloud or something? But if it was... I mean, we all trust that the cloud is this thing that's like free storage. But do you think they give us the cloud and can't fuck with individual?
Somebody owns the cloud.
Right. Somebody owns it. They give it to us for free.
Data collecting company.
Right. Why would they give it to us for free? There are a few things where you'd think like if Facebook said, you know, we need to charge people $1 per month. We're going to put it on your phone bill so you'll never notice it was ever, you know, you don't even notice it, but we're going to charge $1 per month for Facebook from now on. 99.9% of the people would still, you know, wouldn't cancel their Facebook over that. Maybe a flat 99. And it's that idea of losing that 1% or whatever percent that would give up their information. They don't do it because if they charged people $1 per month, there are last time I checked, which was years ago now, it was 2.9 billion users on Facebook.
Wow.
That's a lot. That means every month they could essentially make $3 billion. That's $36 billion a year that Facebook could just make. Like, for nothing. Like, nobody would notice. Nobody would care. $1, you add $1 to my phone bill? Okay, whatever. And they could still do all the data, all that shit. But instead, they give it to us for free. You think those greedy bastards at the top of Facebook wouldn't want to distribute an extra $36 billion around each year? Or even, what if Facebook went the noble route and they said, we're going to charge $1 per month and then donate 100% of that money to needy causes around the world? Or in the United States, whatever, needy causes. $36 billion a year Facebook could generate, you know, without any sort of interruption, and they choose not to. Why would that make sense? Why would they do that for free? Other than it's data collection and they don't want to rock the boat and all. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense from a business standpoint. And you can say, oh, they get money from advertising or this and that. They don't get fucking $36 billion a year from advertising. They could charge $5 a month, and I think 90% of the people would still do it. That'd be only like what? 2.7, 2.6 billion, well, 2.6 billion people, I mean, times 5, so about $10 billion a month. Yeah, they couldn't split up an additional $10 billion a month. $120 billion a year. Nah. They could do that 1 year and everything. Like they could lose Facebook, but for 1 year they'd make an additional $120 billion and they could distribute it and everybody would be so fucking happy. Nope. With the cost of running a server farm, companies like Google pay a bit to keep them running. 15 gig is free for storage as value, added to keep your things within the Google ecosystem. Everything you think you know about that is given to you. Right? That's the problem. You don't know, like, you don't know what they have. You know what they tell us they have. You honestly think that the government bought up all of the water powered car engine, the water engine technology, and shelved that shit? They don't use it? I mean, the whole jet fuel conspiracy blows my mind. I don't talk about it enough because I don't know about it enough. But the idea that airplanes' wings are full of fuel is fucking silly to me. Just silly. I mean, if you've ever been a server, the idea of the wings being full of liquid is silly. I'm not saying there isn't an ability to collect data. I'm saying there's an incentive to offer free storage, increases the data set. Dude, they can do anything they want to do. They don't need us for anything. And the technology they have is so far beyond anything we can comprehend. You know, I use the same analogy all the time, but it's an undeniable analogy. If you remember, I don't know how old you are, but I remember when they introduced stealth bombers to the country. Do you? When they were, it was like a big fucking deal.
Oh yeah.
All the news was talking about it. It was like there were shows about it. They were showing off. The stealth was flying over shit. And immediately, like, you know, half the UFO sightings are like, oh, yeah, no. All those triangle UFOs people were talking about, yeah, it was these things. They had stealth technology since at least the 40s, maybe the 30s, maybe earlier, who knows? You know, it's to understand that just in that instance alone, we are 50 years behind what they allow us to know. People had been seeing those stealth bombers for a long time and been called crazy and ridiculed and you know, been made to be pariahs in their neighborhoods and shit like that in their communities. You know, oh, you think of UFOs? And they're like, I saw it. And now the government's like, oh yeah, you saw these things. And who fixes all the life that was ruined? Because those people said something, because they saw something. Now we have drones. You know, drones are those things. Drones make all the UFO sightings seem totally believable now. Oh, okay. Yep. Drones. Yeah, they've had drones for a lot longer than I guess we think. Now you're a pilot. Sure you are. Oh my god. Fucking goofy, man. You know, the problem is they've done this really good job of attaching your sense of self to the things that you believe. So like if you, especially because maybe you've liked UFOs or whatever, you've put a lot of energy into watching it and believing it. You might even argued against people that brought things up and you're like, of course you're stupid, and you know you were a dick to people and shit like that. And they attach that sense of self to these things that even when you're presented with something that sort of cracks it, you shut it down because and you get offended and you fight. People don't continue to have like an intellectual discussion. Somebody's feelings get hurt, and then because your feelings are hurt, you want to hurt the other person's feelings back. So then you say, and it just builds from there. It's crazy to me how people get mad when you start talking about the earth shape. How people get mad when you start,
It's so personal.
right. Even religious stuff. Like if you believe your shit and I don't, why does that bother you so much?
Now, see, I could see them getting angry more so over religion than earth shape.
Why?
Earth shape is science that, if you had the means, you could, go around and figure it out. But religion is faith. And that's
Yeah, but
can't
that's
measure that scientifically. So
yeah, but you can talk about why it requires it. Because there's not too many other things you have faith in. I mean, you could say, "Oh, I've never seen $1 million, but I have faith $1 million exists." Yeah, but that's something that can be proven.
so can the earth shape ultimately,
No, it can't.
if you had the money.
No, you can't. Because if it could, it would. The thing that you have to understand is that it's 2025, and the whole notion of the Earth not being round is such a big deal, a big threat, that you had people like Obama making jokes. This isn't a meeting of the Flat Earth Society. You see commercials and shit. So why isn't big blockbuster Hollywood and government and whatever working together to create a video to unequivocally prove that the Earth is round? They go get somebody like Eric Dubay and they say, all right, man, you lay out all your best arguments and we're going to debunk them. We want to end this nonsense right here and now. And, okay, it's going to be a 3-hour movie, whatever it takes, we're going to do it. And they do. Why don't they do that? That would make a shit ton of money. Everybody'd go see that shit. So why don't they do it? It's you have to read between the lines, right? They're not telling you the truth on any, like, why would you believe them about this thing when they also tell you to believe in God? And if they tell you to believe in God, then they tell you that the earth has a firmament, and within that indestructible firmament lies the moon. So there's no fucking way that we took a rocket ship to the moon. You can't have both. Suddenly you have the church talking about how the universe is possible and aliens are possible and all that is now within God's realm. What the fuck are you talking about? What about the firmament?
Within the realm of God, there's a difference.
Literally, the firmament is the first fucking thing. The first thing. God turns on the light. He doesn't make the sun and the moon until the 4th day, which, how do you have the 4th day without there being a sun and a moon, other than this is a giant aquarium in some guy's basement, and time is a measurement and not has nothing to do with the earth and the round and the blah blah blah, nothing. But God's in his basement looking at the face of God is going along the waters of the deep. He's looking in his little aquarium thing, and he turns on the light, and then he builds the firmament. That's the first fucking thing. It's not like that's the first thing, and then it goes, and then on the other side of the firmament is the waters of heaven. What the fuck are you talking about? How is the Bible just changing that shit up now? Or in recent years? Why do I know that shit and all you dumb Christians don't? Jesus, look at all these fucking comments. They're just so dumb. It's so strange how you can't fucking do it. You can't say anything that matters, but you're upset, so you have to say something. Or it's your job. Everybody bringing up jobs. I guess you must be working right now too, huh? I mean, it's just stupid. Like, how can you be stupid enough to say to the person on the feed that you're watching that they should get a job? You don't know if I work at night. You don't know any of my story. But clearly, either you are working and this is your job, is to try to interfere, or you're doing a bad job at whatever job you do because you're watching a YouTube video. Either way, you look like the dumbass every time you say that. And you're too stupid to even think along those lines, which is why I'm saying it to you. So maybe it like rattles around in that dumb J head of yours. But it's like, this is child's play, man. You guys have to make this more difficult. I told you guys yesterday. What did I tell you we were going to talk about? I thought we were talking about it. Well, maybe we should go back to the Constitution again. Right? That's what we should do. We were on the bicameral Congress. The executive, now we're on the second branch. The executive, consisting of the president and subordinate officers, Article 2, and the judicial, consisting of the Supreme Court and other federal courts, Article 3. Article 4, 5, and 6 embody concepts of federalism. Federalism is a mode of government that combines a general level of government. Is a mode of government that combines a general level of government, a central or federal government, with a regional level of subunit governments, provinces, states, cantons, territories, etc., while dividing the powers of governing between the two levels of government. That makes sense. That makes so much sense for it to be that way. Wow, you wouldn't think. To illustrate examples of federated countries, one of the world's oldest federations, and one recently federalized, are Australia and the Federated States of Micronesia. Johann Atheothus, 1563. Yeah, 1563 to 1638, is considered the father of modern federalism, along with Montesquieu. In 1603, Althusius, that's his name, Althusius, first described the basis of this political philosophy in his Politica Methodis. Oh, math! I said math! Methodis Digesta Attic Exemplis Sacris et Ponfenis Illustrator. Of course. By 1748, in his treatise, The Spirit of Law, Montague, 1689 to 1755, observed various examples of federalist governments in corporate societies, in the polis bringing villages together, and the cities themselves forming confederations. In the modern era, federalism was first adopted by a union of states of the old Swiss Confederacy as of the mid 14th century. That's the modern era. I mean, it's. This always makes me just think of it like these are large governments, and then you think about like the buildings that they show you that they were doing these government things in, and I'm so obsessed anymore with the construction aspect of things. At this point, that I want to know that way more than I want to know what was going on in those buildings supposedly. Because you could tell me anything was going on in the building. I want to know how the fuck they were building these things. These insane structures. And something that you need to train yourself to do is whenever you're told to look at like a painting or at a picture of some sort, or again, paintings are a great example. The old paintings. Try not to just focus on the foreground. Look at the background, and something that it's funny. It's always been in front of us, and I've never outwardly noticed it. I think I've always sort of questioned it, but never really said anything. And we've all had it. It's been right in front of us. You'll see all these buildings, and hang on. You see these buildings, and in the background, there are skyscrapers. There are always big, giant buildings and towers and multiple story things in the backgrounds of paintings. And it's like you just sort of overlook it, and I don't even know if you notice it because it's the background. But to think that, okay, so I guess all of these artists all over the world who didn't communicate with each other and still somehow painted in the same style, they also all thought to put the same fake buildings, that some of which are still standing to this day, but the same fake buildings in the backgrounds of all their paintings. Everything was all about realism and making it as realistic as possible in a way that we still can't really do now. You know, these guys were using brush strokes and techniques and paints and all these things that were kind of like dumbfounded as to how they did it. The layers of paint are so thin, we can't really detect them and shit like that. Like it's, you can't see the brush strokes and anything. We're not really sure how all these guys just knew how to paint like that. But they did. Because that makes sense. They all went to the colleges at the time. Because the colleges were these big, huge buildings where it's almost like you don't even think about, like if I go into that closet right over there, right? And I close the door, it's pitch black. So what were they doing in these gigantic buildings with these huge doors? Because, they all have these humongous doors. And these huge, like 3, 4, 5 rooms in. It's all decorated to the fucking nines. Every inch of the place is carved and artistic in some way. And that apparently they must have been doing that all by lamplight, right? That makes sense. I mean, in reality, the insides of those buildings would never see the light of day. They would never be able to see natural light or anything like that until light bulbs were supposedly invented. So, how did they do all that shit? Oh, yeah. Da Vinci. He just laid on his back and painted the whole Sistine Chapel. I
I
mean,
mean, he was laying on like a hammock cot type thing.
right. All by himself.
Yeah.
Right. Did all the whole thing by himself. And was doing other shit at the same time. Why not?
He was a dentist too.
An inventor, inventing helicopters and shit.
I said dentist. Duh.
As well. I've been to the Vatican, and there is nothing greater than the artistic ability that went into the place, but I think it was just the people that were that good at art. They just were. They were just that good at art. Somehow, you know, somehow they were just able to do things that we can't do today. Like, the average everyday person, when I say we're stupid, it's like I'm not trying to be insulting to you in a way like I'm superior. I'm including me in that. We are stupid. They make us stupid. We look at those paintings, we look at all that infrastructure, we look at all that shit, and we go, how the fuck did anyone do this? Oh, well, I guess they must have. Do. And that's just it. We know instinctively, right off the bat, your first thought is always, no way. How did any human being do this? Especially not these donkey people we're told existed. I'm supposed to believe that people without power tools, people, oh yeah, the slaves, they keep trying to tell you all these jank ass methods that somehow the slaves were moving the bricks along a bunch of rolling pieces of rock, of wood. And no, they weren't. They weren't. Look up the history of the Erie Canal. If that shit doesn't blow your mind, because they just say that like these bankers just decide that they want to make the Erie Canal, and oops, they need a special form of concrete that will harden while in water, and one of those guys just invents it. Why the fuck not? Bankers are always doing shit like that.
Again, you are so cynical.
Oh, look at all these dumb comments, man. I wish it was different. It's so crazy to think that all of these fucking look this dumbass that keeps repeating himself. He comes here day after day after day for hours on end to bring attention to how stupid he is because he hates me so much. That sounds real. It sounds like something you would do, right? Guys, this is why. Like, even think about it. This guy is mad because I'm what? Talking about he's a real big Leonardo da Vinci fan and doesn't like anybody questioning the Sistine Chapel. I'm mad.
Well,
Like,
I mean, when you've been there and you've seen it, it's really easy to get caught up in the romantic side of everything.
of course it is.
You know, the nostalgia. But you can't just throw logic and reason to the wind.
No, you have to, because you're not allowed to ask. Who are you gonna ask?
I mean, it is amazing. Is it totally impossible?
Yes.
We don't know.
Absolutely. It is absolutely impossible that this man did the Sistine Chapel on his. What did they say? Let's cheat a little here because we have this
I believe it was like a cot type of
Sistine Chapel painting.
According to Wikipedia, the Sistine Chapel ceiling, painted in fresco.
The Sistine Chapel ceiling painted in fresco. Fresco. Like, that's not just, isn't fresco like.
with a paintbrush. Like,
let's see. Fresco is a technique of mural painting executed on by freshly laid wet lime plaster. That's what it's not.
plaster.
Yeah, it's not paint. You don't just, it's plaster.
Gently laid lime plaster.
Upside down. upside down, is used as a vehicle for the dry powder pigment to merge with the plaster, and with the center of the plaster, the painting becomes an integral part of the wall. Shut the fuck up! Even better, let's keep going. Painted by Michelangelo. Whoa, we were off. Not Da Vinci, Michelangelo. Everybody, nobody decided to check us on that? Not a single smarty pants on here?
I did know that.
Who said it was Michelangelo, you dumbasses? Why didn't any of you say that shit? Bro, just say your Y-O-U wrong. Your Y-O-U-R wrong. Okay. You're wrong. Why would I say that? Why would I say that in that way? I'm not stupid. Even though I did mess this up, I got my ancient fucking 1500s artist wrong. Everything I say must be wrong too. I did not get my correct Ninja Turtle on this one. I am so sorry. Painted by Michelangelo in fresco between 1508 and 1512.
Okay.
It could be as little as 3 years if you say the end of 1508 and the beginning of 1512. But that makes sense, doesn't it? The entire Sistine Chapel painted with fresco, fucking plaster bullshit upside down, while he laid on his back upside down.
On a hangy cut thing, right?
On some scaffolding, I guess, that he invented for the project. Okay, the Sistine Chapel is the large papal chapel.
Papal.
The large papal. I like papal. The large papal chapel.
For the Pope.
Why would I say the papal chapel? No, it's the papal chapel.
Oh, you're going to
That's
hell.
how it's spelled. Papal. It's the papal chapel. Papal chapel, built within the Vatican between 1477 and 1480 by Pope Sixtus IV, for whom the chapel is named. So this amazing fucking church itself, which is, I mean, so this is the interior. He did that in like 4 years.
And that's not paint.
No, that's fresco.
Pigment colored plaster.
Right. Look how huge it is. I mean, this is like 60 feet tall. We'll see just how tall it is.
When Jody went there, she took videos and pictures and shit.
They built the whole church in 3 years.
Was he in there painting while they were building it?
No, stupid. God damn.
So then it took
No, it was built in 1477, 1480, but he didn't do it for another 100 years. So for another 100 years it was like empty, I guess.
Oh, it was blank.
And somebody's like, "Man, you know what this shit needs? Frescoes everywhere."
Papal chapel.
Papal chapel. The ceiling's various painted elements form part of a larger scheme of decoration. Oh, wait. The ceiling was painted at the commission of Pope Julius II. Pope Sixtus IV was the one that had the shit built. Or he built it. It doesn't even say he had it built. It said it was built by him. He was a hard-working guy, I guess. He learned how to build fucking buildings that last forever. Not just buildings, but buildings that last. I mean, it's a long fucking time now.
I mean, maybe they had the whole deal with India and whatever for their labor to come and do all the work.
See, it doesn't matter. See, it's like when people say shit like that, and I know you're kidding, but when people say that they use like slave labor or something like that, it's an insult to anyone that does any sort of building, carpentry or anything like that. To just say that you could have some slave labor who doesn't give a shit about the job they're doing and isn't trained in that trade, and you just be like, all right, do this, do that, build the fucking building. And they go, okay, boss, we had to build them building a couple years, boss. We got you, boss. Where are all the materials coming from? You know, they're bringing in all of this. There's a lot of glass that's used and shit. Where'd all that come from? More slave labor, I guess. Wheeling things on fucking logs and shit. Donkeys pulling fucking trains over mountains.
Too many questions.
Which is the problem. And that's just it, is I'm asking too many questions. There's that place in Tibet where they found those fucking all those manuscripts that date back 10,000 years, supposedly. Guess we're in a big hurry to see what those are, right?
Well, we're supposed to see the fucking Epstein list and the
It's true.
Weinstein tapes and the blah blahs.
I just think it's hilarious.
Or did it
that
all get burnt up?
I think it's hilarious that you guys had such a prime opportunity to call me out on getting my artist wrong. And none of you did it. All the shit talk that you guys do. And you had this obvious fucking mistake that I was making. And it just goes to show how stupid you are because
You know
none
what
of you
else
caught
proves,
it.
though? It doesn't
That's
fucking matter
awesome.
what the dude's name is. Nobody really cares.
No.
We just know.
Nobody's going to be like, hey, that's my uncle Michelangelo.
Nobody gives a fuck.
Doesn't. We don't even know if those people are real. We just know what they tell us.
And even if they are, nobody cares. I'm sorry if it was your grandpa.
Italians do. If you were talking to Italians, they'd be like, hey, yo, oh, hey, yo, oh, hey, yo, oh, hey.
Wow.
That was Michelangelo. Oh, hey, yeah, oh, hey.
You are so going to hell.
That's okay. I'm sure that anybody there would be like, that's a pretty good impression. Oh, hey. Are we not all Tony Danza fans here? Come on. Hold me closer, Tony Danza. Prior to Michelangelo's contribution, the walls were painted by several... Oh, there was other paintings there beforehand. Or are we saying... Oh, he didn't do the walls. He just did the ceiling. Okay.
Oh, yeah, no.
The walls were painted by several leading artists of the 15th century, including Sandro Botticelli, Domenico Ghirlandaio, and Pietro Perugino. After the ceiling was painted, yada yada, Raphael created a set of large tapestries, 1515 to 1516. It only took him a year to create a set of large tapestries. I gotta see what these set of large tapestries are. Are 7 large cartoons for tapestries surviving from a set of 10 cartoons designed by the high Renaissance painter Raphael in 1515, 1516. So this dude was painting... Oh my God, get the fuck out of here. This is 7 of them. Oh no, it's not even all 7.
And I bet you he had to hand dye all that thread.
Look at that shit.
That's insane.
That's insane. Oops. That all took a year. He did that all in a year and shit.
Yeah.
Plus 3 more. The tapestries rivaled Michelangelo's ceiling as the most famous and influential designs of the Renaissance, and were well known to all artists of the Renaissance of Baroque and all of the Renaissance and Baroque through reproduction in form of prints. Right, because they had the fucking printing presses and back then to be, yeah, we reproduce those and we sell them to you. How big you want your prints? We had that delivered to you in about 18 months. But I'm just down the street. Oh, okay, 17 months. Like, what are you, crazy? to think that people were like, what were people doing back then? To think that anybody would make the trip to go visit these areas, go visit the Vatican, and then go back. Like, what? How? How were they traveling? What means were they using? How were they just leaving their houses behind and their farms and
thousands and thousands of dollars to go on a vacation with them and their kids, like it is for us.
I mean, it might as well have been, because how do you travel all that way back then? You know, you're not flying. You're like riding on donkeys and shit. I don't know. Where are you sleeping? And you know, each place you go to has different money, so you got to go see the J money changer, and they give you the money for this region, and then like, I mean, just think about how ridiculous it is. Think about how difficult travel is nowadays. And we have all the modern conveniences you can imagine. These guys are, and you know, we have the tunnels that they dug through mountains and underneath fucking water and underneath rivers and shit. Like, we have those now thanks to those guys. But how were they doing it before that shit? Before they had figured out how to dig a tunnel through a mountain or underneath a giant river like the Thames in 1850 something. Shut the fuck up. I mean, just shut up. Just what the fuck are we doing? Commission and the tapestries. Raphael was highly conscious that his work would be seen beneath the Sistine Chapel ceiling, which had been finished by Michelangelo only 2 years before, and took great care perfecting his designs, which were among his largest and most complicated. Originally, the set was intended to include 16 tapestries, but Raphael was paid twice by Leo, in June 1515 and in December 1516. The last payment apparently being upon completion of the work. Like, that's the most important part of that story, huh? To who? Who was like, man, I wonder when he was paid. That was the first thing you thought of, huh? Tapestries retained their late Gothic prestige during the Renaissance. Raphael was paid a total of 1,000 ducats. Most of the expense was in the manufacture, with the creation of the tapestries in Brussels costing 15,000 ducats. Well, that really sounds like a bad business deal. He got paid 1,500 or 1,000, but it cost him 15,000, and they were manufactured in Brussels. Because again, back then, international commerce was a big business, right? I mean, so are they saying that Michelangelo designed the tapestries and then a company in Brussels manufactured them? Tapestries in Brussels. Brussels tapestry workshops produced tapestry from at least the 15th century, but the city's early production in the late Gothic international style was eclipsed by the more prominent tapestry weaving workshops based in Arras and Tournai. In 1477, Brussels, capital of the Duchy of Brabant, was inherited by the House of Habsburg. That just makes sense. You just inherited Brussels, okay. And in the same year, Arras, the prominent center of tapestry weaving in the Low Countries, was sacked, and its tapestry manufacturer never recovered. And Tournai and Brussels seem to have increased in importance. So they had a workshop, they called it. So I guess, again, you submit your designs to this company, and then they have that make it. Get the only Millefleur tapestry to survive, together with a record of its payment, was a large heraldic Millefleur carpet of very high quality, made for Duke Charles the Bold of Burgundy in Brussels, of which part is now in the Bern Historical Museum. Sophie Schneebalg Perlman's attribution to Brussels of the Lady of the Unicorn at the Muncie D. Cluny may well be correct. Under the influence of Raphael, here we go. Now it's going to kick back around. I want to know how they did this shit. There's no, that's what they're telling me. Like, there's no, what do you mean, like, the Brussels did this and the like, did you hear anything about how that shit worked? How they were making the tapestries? Did they have little Asian hands like they do now? What's going on here? The great period of Renaissance weaving in Brussels dates from the weaving entrusted by Pope Leo X to a consortium of its ateliers, what's that word?
I don't know.
Ateliers? Does that sound right?
Atelier.
Or ateliers? Of the Acts of the Apostles after cartoons by Raphael. That is so weird. Why are they called cartoons? And they're spelled Cartoo. That, oh shit, are we just, oh my god. Because, you know, the whole Mandela effect bullshit is that cartoons was always spelled Cartunes, and we always thought they were Cartoons. But apparently they weren't. They were Tunes. So why was Raphael's called Cartoons? That's fucking kind of... Okay, anyway, between 1515 and 1519, Leo must have been motivated by the already high technical quality of Brussels tapestries. Not of the Brussels tapestries, but of Brussels tapestries. The conventions of the monumental pictorial representation with the effects of perspective that would be expected of a fresco or other wall decoration were applied for the first time in this prestigious set. The framing of the central subject within the borders that proved able to be brought up to date in successive weavings was also introduced in the Raphael tapestries. So to make the tapestries in the Sistine Chapel to rival Michelangelo's ceiling, other famous artist Raphael. I don't understand. Did he draw it out and then tell them to weave? Can you imagine how difficult it would be to weave tapestries like that? Where did they get all the material from? And
Well, like I said,
the dyes, right? Like, how? And I'm sure these are like so finely woven that you can't see any sort of misstitch anywhere or anything in these giant tapestries that they invented the technique to be able to do for these tapestries.
Yes.
This is history. I'm crazy because I question this and don't think like this makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
That is just...
I don't know. Was that supposed to be a no? Cause
this is a tapestry. There's tapestry. They just
right.
make this shit. Right? Can you understand how difficult something like that would be? And this is probably huge. It's probably not some little small thing. This is David sees Bethesda washing and invites her to his palace from the Story of David, Brussels, circa 1526 to 1528. 2 years. Okay, so Raphael knew that the final product of his work would be produced by craftsmen rendering his design in another medium. How do you design something in painting so it can be viewed in tapestry form? Because it's gonna look different. The color, like, unless they're like taking it and
Unless he was
photo
hired.
printing it on there.
He was hired to paint it so that it could be.
That's what I'm saying. Not only is he painting, but he's painting it so that it can be transferred in a way. Well, he's designing it. They're not really saying how he designed it. His efforts are therefore entirely concentrated on strong compositions and broad effects rather than fictitious handling or detail. And I'm sure all those designs are gone. We don't know where those went. Because those wouldn't be valuable too if he did. I mean, if you have these exact same images in painting, isn't that just as cool? You want to see those? But then to think like you're going to paint it in this extraordinary painting only so then it can be copied in tapestry? Yeah, it makes sense. It was partly this that made the design so effective when later reproduced in reduced print versions. The cartoons are painted in a glue distemper medium. Distemper is a decorative paint and a historical medium for painting pictures which contrast with tempera. The binder may be glues of vegetable or animal origin, excluding egg. Just, so the Jays can deal with it. Soft distemper is not abrasive, resistant, and may include binders such as chalk, ground pigments, and animal glue. Hard distemper is stronger and wear resistant and can include capsaicin and linseed oil as binders. So he's painting in glue. Okay. The cartoons are painted in a glue distemper medium on many sheets of paper glued together, as can be seen in the full-size illustrations.
Do you know what it's like to draw or paint on paper that's been glued together? Because I've done it. It really sucks.
They're painted in a glue distemper medium on many sheets of paper that are then glued together.
Yeah, but just the act of drawing.
Or maybe they are. It doesn't say if they're then. It says on many sheets of paper glued together. So you might be right. They might be already glued. Huh? What?
It sucks to do that.
Why would you do that?
Have you ever done that?
Why would you? What are they doing that for? For like
to make it thicker and more sturdy, canvas-like.
That, and are they making it like? Is it textured? Is the word I'm looking for? Is it textured? Is that what it's for?
I mean, it will texture it depending on how much glue you have in between it.
I mean, you have canvas, right? Is it? Where are you getting these? Who was producing paper back then?
They said paper.
What paper mills exist back then?
Donkeys. Chew it up.
All right, spit it out, boy. Damn, donkey always wants to swallow it. Spit it out. What? Where the fuck are they getting paper from?
Stop asking so many fucking questions.
Does he go down to like paper store and be like, well, I know I got this great idea for this I'm gonna use this glue distemper and stick a bunch of fucking paper, and then I'm gonna paint it. And they're like, all right, well, we just got this new 32B612 in. It's the newest top of the line paper. 50 sheets for 200 ducats.
Oh, you're an asshole.
What is it? What are we doing here?
Shush.
You guys are crazy.
Questions asking so much.
You guys are fucking crazy. What? Do you understand? Like, paper is not easily produced. You don't just get some magical chainsaw and just cut real thin sheets of wood and it turns it into paper.
The donkeys, they chew it up.
I mean,
Spit out.
paper requires you taking, like, paper creation makes a lot of pollution from what they say. But it requires, like, grinding up tree bits into, like, a paste, right? And then they lay the paste out and it dry. I don't know. I know it stinks.
Don't explain it. I don't want to know.
But how are they making
Yeah, it
paper
stinks
back
like
then?
spit. I always thought paper stunk like spit.
No, paper creation stinks even worse.
Okay, well, paper smells like spit. I've always thought that.
Paper smells like spit.
Yes, smell it. Smell it and you tell me.
That's interesting. But just think about how, like, if I were to be like, all right, hey man, can you go make me some paper? How long do you think it would take before you could? Without looking it up online, how long do you think it would take before you could make me some paper?
I don't even remember how I did. We made rice paper. We made rice paper once when I was in like 5th grade, 6th grade.
Which goes to show you that, you know, as parents, we want our kids to have these experiences and whatnot.
But you don't fucking remember the shit.
If you don't remember it anyway, what's the point?
Well, you don't remember the shit. It's nice to know that, you know, your parents gave a shit to do shit like that.
So I wonder what kind of paper they were using back in the 1400s that
that
survived
quite a question
to this day. And where was there like a Staples back then? Like, what the fuck? Where do you get paper from? I'm so curious as to where paper comes from back in the 1400s. What? It's fucking ridiculous, man. He was gluing paper together with animal glue and painting that as his medium to rival frozen, you know, because he was making his designs so they could be, the tapestries in Brussels could be made so that they could rival the Sistine Chapel that was painted a couple of years for. And, you know, it all happened in a year. He designed all fucking 16, but only 10 were produced, but it was in a year. Designing them, gluing all that paper together.
You're so silly.
Oh, gluing all the paper together and then painting it and then sending it off to Brussels because, you know, he like rolled it all up. Oh man, I gotta roll these giant paper. Like, how do you transport your giant paper collage paintings to Brussels from wherever you are? Like, this is nuts. This is nuts, man. Oh, you used the ride-sharing program? Whew. Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus. Oh, freaking Jesus Christ, it's cold. Oh, freaking goddamn, it's cold. Freaking Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus and the Christ. And the Christ and the Jesus and the Jesus and the Christ, it's cold. Oh, Jesus. You know what? I'm done. No. I'm done. I've been live for too long today. Especially to such a small number. It's weird. Anyway, you guys have yourself a great day. Go get your free download. It's in the description. And pedophiles, of course, kill yourself.